Hello and welcome to Anchorage Bucs baseball. Will Hopkins alongside Vic Massey as the Bucs host the Chugiak-Eagle River Chinooks on this Tuesday evening, coming a little bit later than we expected after the Pilots game ran a little late, had some problems with the mound. Hopefully not an issue for tonight's game. And looking at the Bucs, the playoffs have already been clinched, getting a top four spot guaranteed. Next step is getting one of those top two spots to guarantee home field in the first round. Magic number is 5 for that, and for the Bucs, a great opportunity to bring that magic number down, facing a team that's sitting in last place.
Yeah, I think for the Bucks, the main thing is just not to worry about the minors. I know that they've been hot on the Bucks' tail for a long time, but the Bucks just need to play their own baseball. They cannot worry about the minors. We will see them two more times. That is a guarantee. But we've got 10 more games left, so this Bucks team cannot get too afraid of the guys behind them. And just because it's summer baseball and just the atmosphere, these guys aren't playing for a crazy NCAA national championship. So the thought of having someone behind you trying to catch up isn't as daunting as it would be in real college baseball when it comes to actual college ball NCAA. But in terms of this season, I think that it actually helps the Bucks a little bit because they're probably just focused on individual and team success and doing well and making sure their stats are good when they go back. So for the Bucks, the main thing is just focus on themselves. They've done very good against the Chinooks 4-1 this season against them, and just that 10-4 loss was the last game was just a little bit of a hiccup. But I think that we said that that's kind of a one timer, and we can expect the Bucks to do really well against a 10-22 struggling Chinooks team
Yeah,
tonight.
hopefully that is a one-off, and the Bucs can get things back in the right direction, and no better guy to help them do that than Garvey Rummery.
Oh, not at all. He's been absolutely magnificent for the Bucks in every single facet. We talked about him doing a really good job of manufacturing outs just by not having to strike guys out. We've talked about the pop-ups and even ground balls in some games, but he also has that strikeout type of stuff, and I think that what makes him so versatile is he knows he can kind of gauge the first couple innings. Am I going to be a lot of strikeouts, or is today going to be more of a contact type of day? I think that's what makes Garvey so good, and not just what makes him so good, but what gives him that longevity.
Yeah, we'll talk about Garvey Rummery. We'll talk about Aiden Ray making his first start for the Chinooks and the lineups when we come back. Welcome back to Mulcahy Stadium. Bucks and Chinooks, both teams coming off of shutouts yesterday, opposite ends of the Bucks winning 2-0 against the Oilers. Meanwhile, the Chinooks a mercy rule loss, 11-0 in 7 innings against the Miners, and those 11 runs definitely a lot. This is a team that is last in ERA in the ABL, giving up per game in 9 innings, 4.51 earned runs. A new starting pitcher, though, may be bringing some help. It's Aiden Ray. He'll be making his first appearance for the Chinooks. 6'3", 175, a rising senior out of State College of Florida. The righty, he'll be rocking number 29, so it'll be our first look and a first look for even the Chinooks and the ABL as a whole at him. On the flip side for the Bucks, if they want another shutout win, probably no better guy to have on the mound than Garvey Rummery.
Oh, absolutely, Will. This will be his seventh appearance, but in his six appearances before tonight, he started in 4 games, 2-0 so far, 23 in the third innings pitched, a .39 ERA, 24 strikeouts. Looking at his last start, we'll take you back to July 17th versus the Matsu Miners. That was actually a 1-0 loss for the Bucks, but luckily Garvey Rummery did not get the loss in that game. That was the second game where the Miners took that one in the sudden death. So that was not a loss towards Garvey Rummery's name. Gave up just 2 hits, no runs. In the start before that, July 7th versus the Chinooks, 5 in the third innings, 3 hits, no runs in that game. Looking at his strikeouts, 2 strikeouts in each of those last 2 games, or excuse me, sorry about that. Couple strikeouts in his first 2 games. His last 2 games, the strikeouts have gone up tremendously, and that's what I said during the open of this. Is I said Garvey has the ability to get strikeouts, and he also has the ability to manufacture outs in a multitude of different ways. You talked about that Oilers game. We only had a couple of strikeouts, went super far into the game, 7 in the third innings, but just had a couple strikeouts and had a ton of pop flies. But his last 2 games, 9 strikeouts against the Miners and then 6 strikeouts against the Chinooks. So tonight, if things continue, we should see a lot of strikeouts, him filling up the zone a lot, using that breaking ball. But also, we could be in store for a game where Garvey Rummery could go a full 9 innings because he's getting outs left and right with just a couple of pitches. We talked about the pop outs, and he can also get the ground outs too. So we'll be in store for a multitude of different things from Garvey Rummery. We just don't know what it is, but usually it's been really good. And the 2-0 on the season speaks volumes, but that .39 speaks even bigger volumes. And so who he'll be facing off against for the Chinooks, they'll start it off with the catcher. Dustin Eisenegel will be the leadoff batter. After him, Jaden Hill will bat second and play in center field. Jacob Hayes will hit third and play at first base. The cleanup batter, Luis Zulaika, will play at second. Jordan Jaffe will be the 5-hole batter playing at third base. Oliver Dagenhart will bat sixth and play at shortstop. Brady Groves will play in left field and bat seventh. The 8-hole batter, Sam Kwapnowski, will play in right field. And rounding out the order, the designated hitter, Peyton Neiman, once again for the Chinooks, Eisenegel, Hill, Hayes, Zulaika, Jaffe, Dagenhart, Groves, Kwapnowski, and Neiman. That is all behind their starting pitcher, Eden Ray. And as for the hometown, Anchorage Bucs, they'll lead it off with Cole Carlone, who will play first base. And then in the 2-hole will be Andrew Lamb playing behind home plate, catching up Garvey Rummery. Ryan Callahan will be the 3-hole batter playing in left field. The cleanup batter, Josh Hankins, will play at third base. Batting fifth and playing in center field is Max Ross. Peyton Knowles will hit sixth and play at second base. Dylan Maltby gets the start because Tommy Eisenstadt was a late scratch due to a sickness, so Maltby will be the designated hitter. It was supposed to be Carlone with Eisenstadt at first, but Maltby will assume the designated hitter spot and bat seventh, like I said. Batting eighth, Riley Hunsaker will play in right field. Will Burns will round out the order once again, batting ninth and playing at shortstop. Once again for the Bucs, Carlone, Lamb, and Callahan, Hankins, Ross, Knowles, Maltby, Hunsaker, and Burns. Just about 3 or so minutes away from first pitch. Going to probably be about 4 or 5, I would say, with the rotations just getting announced. The lineups brought to you guys here by our PA announcer, who's actually Sean Maltby next door to us, filling in for our normal PA. And he is going to bring out the Bucs here, who are wearing their camo uniforms. You know, that white base with the black and gray spots. The yellow letters, Bucs are written across the chest, outlined in white with those white pinstripe pants. The white base, black pinstripes, gold piping down the lines. Bucs Chinooks, it's been about a week since they last played, or over a week, excuse me, with all these rain delays. It is hard to keep up with how how long ago games were, and 10-4 loss for the Bucs, and that was a big gut punch from a team that the Bucs have handled very handedly all season long. So we'll see what's in store tonight. And it looks like Hunsaker makes his way on the field, just leaves Will Burns. So we'll step aside. We'll bring you the national anthem by our PA next to us. And after that, we'll walk you right up to first pitch. It's Bucs Chinooks here at Mulcahy Stadium for another 6:15 matchup. We'll take you into the national anthem. We'll be right back with you. Garvey Rummery, ready to go when we come back. Welcome back. Just about moments away from first pitch here. Bucs versus Chinooks. Chinooks in their blue traveling uniforms with the gray pants. Chinooks written across the chest in red, outlined in white. And the umpires meeting at home plate, and Andrew Lamb will join them. Lamb filling in for Brody Briggs is, I guess, the go-to second option if Briggs is not in the order. And of course, Dylan Maltby, another catcher, is the designated hitter tonight for the Bucs. And like I said, Tommy Eisenstadt was a late scratch to this game. He is a little bit under the weather. Not exactly sure what is up with him. We know yesterday he was in the lineup, so it shouldn't be anything too bad. He was 1 for 4 last night, drove in a run actually, so one of the two very important runs for the Bucs. So obviously disappointing to not have him in the lineup tonight, but good to give Maltby another chance. He's looked really good in just the few games that we've seen him in as of late. Remind you that doubleheader non-league game where the stats did not go towards the record, or excuse me, all the stats didn't count for any of the guys, and Dylan Maltby, of course, chose that game, and he went off and had a triple, a couple RBIs too, but of course that is not on the stat sheet, and talked to him after that game, and, it's just, of course, that, that happens for him who doesn't get a lot of at-bats. So really good to see Maltby in the order. Even though he's not out on the field, always good to see him behind home plate catching up. But Andrew Lamb is a great second option. So Lamb, Garvey Rummery is the battery tonight. Hankins at third, Burns at short, Peyton Knowles at second, and then Cole Carlone at first base. Fairly normal infield. And as for the outfield, Ryan Callahan in left, Max Ross in center, Riley Hunsaker in right. And Max Ross, remind you, coming back still from that thumb injury, and it's really good to have him back because it gives the Bucs a lot of options on where to put Hunsaker, whether it's left field or right field, just so he doesn't have to use that hamstring too much. Of course, in center field, covering a lot of ground, not just at any ballpark, but especially here at Mulcahy Stadium. So good to have Max Ross, who's got fresh pair of legs out there, and throw goes down to second base. Stepping up to the plate is Dustin Eisenangle. Garvey Rummery is ready. And now for the play-by-play, here is Will Hopkins.
Appreciate it, Vic. Time for this sixth matchup in league play. Seventh in total, with the Bucs winning that non-league game between these two via a 7-inning combined no-hitter. Garvey Rummery facing off against Dustin Eisenangle to get things started. And Rummery starts the catcher with a strike. Like you said, super interesting. Not only to see a catcher batting first, but a designated hitter batting ninth. Not a combination you see very often. as the lefty Rummery brings a second pitch and a second strike. And another interesting part about this lineup, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are playing positions 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 for the Chinooks. Get a little bit more into that in a second. First, the 0-2 from Rummery. That's too far outside. Jacob Hayes is batting third and playing first base. Zuleika's batting fourth and playing second base. Joffe's batting fifth and playing third base. Dagenhart's batting sixth and playing shortstop. And then Grove's batting seventh and left. Just kind of a crazy coincidence. Check swing. Ball gets away from Andrew Lamb, who sprints after it just in case Eisenagel had gone around. Appeal down to first. He did not. That would have been a super late strike three call.
Yeah, especially, and we have not seen a ton of appeal calls down to first and third where they have been confirmed. I would say they went around. I honestly have not seen a lot in this league, and especially the ones coming late like that. It was very hard to get that call.
So now they count even to the leadoff hitter. And after two straight strikes, Rummery missing for a third consecutive pitch. Full count to get things started with Jaden Hill waiting on deck and Jacob Hayes in the hole. Full count offering from Rummery. Hit high in the air, foul down the third baseline. No play for Hankins.
Now what we're used to seeing out of Rummery, who takes care of batters pretty quickly. We noted that 9 strikeout game in his last outing and the 6 strikeouts against the Chinooks, so when he last played them. And those are definitely an uptick of what we've seen from him, but usually very quick pitcher, especially is going to get contact early in counts.
And that allows him to go deep into games. 3-2. Another foul ball. I'd say that Rummery and Zanrose definitely the top 2 pitchers for the Bucs in terms of getting deep into games. And for Rummery, his last 3 starts, listen to this, 17 and 2/3 innings, just 7 hits and no runs. So he's really been on it. Has only made 4 starts this season. After that first one, really got things together. Fly ball, another one in foul territory. Could be room for Carlone. And there is enough room. Eisenagel shakes his head, heads back to the dugout, and at long last, Rummery gets the first out.
Yeah, a big first out. And we've seen the Bucs in July. I've noticed that a lot of three ball, 2 strike counts when they keep fouling balls off after every single pitch. A lot of times these Bucs pitchers don't give in initially, and they're really trying to get these batters out. But I will say ABL batters have been really tough against the Bucs, and I've seen the Bucs pitchers almost having to give in. So luckily for Rummery, that was not the case, and he was able to get the out.
Yeah, it took him 8 pitches to get Eisenagel. Now Jaden Hill steps in. Really strong player out in center field. Big swing and a miss at the fastball upstairs. Hill coming into play, hitting .243. 7 runs batted in, 17 walks. That leads the team. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the first, and another swing and a miss.
And I love Rummery's approach. I'm assuming a lot of those 17 walks are just because he looks like an intimidating guy to face. He's a big guy in the right-handed batter's box, can track down balls out there in center field. Players know that he's really fast and really strong.
Well, that fast, strong body's going back to the dugout. Rummery gets him looking.
Like I said, great job by Rummery. Not going to be intimidated by the size of Jaden Hill and his gameplay. The Bucs have seen the Chinooks enough to know what Jaden Hill's about, and right there, just attacking him, and I love that about him.
Jacob Hayes, another big-bodied player for these Chinooks, 6'5", 220. He takes a first pitch strike.
Yeah, Jacob Hayes, when you see him in person, I actually saw him at a restaurant after the game, and I noticed that, obviously he was wearing the Chinooks shirt, but I noticed how much taller and bigger he is in person.
Up and away, and the starter for the Chinooks, Aiden Ray, who we'll see in the bottom of the inning, he's 6'3", but only 175, so definitely more of a wiry guy we'll see out on the mound. Hopefully Rummery sends it to him soon, and a big swing and a miss from Jacob Hayes will help get us to the bottom of the first. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Rummery looking for his second strikeout of the inning. Eisenagel flew out in foul territory to Carlone, and Jaden Hill went down looking. And that pitch is way up and away. Not often that we see a pitch like that from Rummery. Luckily, nobody on base. Deuces are wild here in the top of the first inning. This game coming immediately after a 7-1 Oilers win over the Pilots here at Mulcahy Stadium, pushing back our start just a little bit. Foul ball from Hayes keeps it at 2-2. Hoping to see Zuleika lead it off in the top of the second inning.
Well, these Chinooks are not going down pretty easy besides, say, Jaden Hill, to be honest, but both Hayes and Eisenangle putting up long fights against Rummery. He's thrown a lot of really competitive pitches.
Here comes his 18th. Just a bit upstairs. Peyton Knowles was headed to the dugout.
They were all taking a step towards the dugout. That was a really good pitch.
Chinooks strike out the second least of any team in the league. Bucs obviously the least in that category. Showing good fight here. 3-2 way up in the air just beyond the infield. Peyton Knowles says that it's his, and it is a little bit of a late adjustment, but he gets the job done. 3 up, 3 down for Garvey Rummery. Bucs bats coming up. Back here for the bottom of the first inning. A 1-2-3 from Garvey Rummery in the top half, and now the ABL's first look at Aiden Ray. Number 29, the right-hander, and like we said, just based off the numbers, we assumed he'd be lanky and wiry, and now seeing him out on the bump definitely is the case.
Has a really good slider, got a lot of horizontal break.
First pitch to Carlone, looks like a fastball that Carlone spoils foul, and for Carlone, obviously been one of the best hitters in the ABL this season. His average has gone down just a little bit of late, so you know he'll want to get back on track.
That OBP keeps going up, though. 2 walks in his last 2 games.
Still hitting over 300, good for third in the league. Comes up empty on a breaker from Aiden Ray, and that might have been that great slider that you were talking about.
Yeah, I noticed it in the warm-ups, and it just sweeps across the plate a lot, and also has a little bit of vertical movement to it as well, so really tough pitch to hit.
Carlone able to draw a ball, now 1-2. It'll be Andrew Lamb and Ryan Callahan following Cole Carlone, and like Vic said in the open, you're expecting to see Tommy Eisenstadt, unfortunately not feeling the best, so he was a late scratch. Another ball hit into foul territory, and no play for anybody on the Chinooks as Joffe gave it a little bit of a look. Bucs sitting at 19-10, 12-6 here for their home games at Mulcahy Stadium in league play. Just today and tomorrow against the Pilots, and then no more league home games. Right up the middle, leadoff base hit for Cole Carlone, and that's a good way for the Bucs to start things offensively.
Yeah, must feel good for Carlone, because even though he's been a great hitter all season, last couple games been a little bit quiet for him. He's gotten on base, that's not been the issue, but it's rolled over on some ball, so good to see him hit it on a line into center field. Great place to hit it, and a great hit in general, with it being on the line.
Bucs have scored a run in the first inning in each of their last 3 games. See if Andrew Lamb can get Carlone over at the least to help make that happen. And we talked to Wyatt Halverson after the game. He was thankful for that second run late in the game. And like he mentioned, it had been about a week and a half since the Bucs had scored a run in multiple innings. Lamb shows bunt, pulls it back, pitches a ball, but we had seen the Bucs shut out twice and then scored 3 runs in the first in consecutive games, but in each of those games, no runs after that. Yesterday getting a run in the first and then a run in the 8th, and we're to a 2-0 win.
And I think if the Bucs get some runs here in the first, Chinooks are a team they could score a little more off of.
Pitch is way outside, maybe a pitch out. Eisenagel can't get it as Carlone was stealing. Interested to see how that one will be scored. Carlone was going with the pitch. Not sure if that was a pitch out or a wild pitch or what, but Carlone ends up at second. I think taking some time to think about this.
Yeah,
It's a tough call.
It is a really tough call. I'm going to say that it was, I don't know. That is a tough call.
Vic went with wild pitch. To be honest, that's probably how I would have scored it as well. Regardless, Carlone's at second. And Ray able to find the zone on Lamb. Carlone able to get into scoring position without Lamb even having to do anything to get him there. Carlone's such a versatile player going with that pitch. Big swing and a miss from Lamb. Looked like a heater on the outside.
Yeah, I just wish Carlone was able to hear it and recognize it a little bit earlier that ball got away. Obviously, it's so tough with your head turned around the other way, but I wish there was just a common call that you could let him know so he didn't get into a sliding motion, could maybe have thought about taking third.
Full count to Andrew Lamb. High in the air. This one might not leave the infield. It's not going to. Louis Zulaika on the edge of that turf dirt makes the play for the first out. So now Ryan Callahan comes to the plate with Carlone at second, now 1 away. Callahan just under 300, hitting 299 coming into play as he takes a strike. And for Callahan, that 299 average, 4th in the ABL. The 0-1 from Aiden Ray. Cut on and missed by the Bucs left fielder.
Yeah, he definitely has some good stuff and was able to fight back in the count with Lamb. Thought that his command was going to be an issue, especially with his height and just the way he's built. You could expect the command might be a little bit of an issue, but he's looked really good in these last couple pitches to Callahan.
Good velocity on that fastball, it seems. Callahan fights this one off down the left field line, just a few feet foul.
Yeah, I think because it was hit so soft and it was hit in the air at least that high, just stayed in the air too long and caused it to tail foul.
We've seen a bunch of Bucs late on that fastball, even with Callahan making contact there. Obviously foul down the left field line a little bit late on it. It really has good life from the right-hander out of State College of Florida. Callahan still in a hole 0-2. And another foul ball that looked like something off speed though.
Yeah, and just the slider that he has mixed in with that fastball, it's tough to slow your bat down, and then it's also tough to speed it back up when he throws the fastball, especially off each other. That's what he does.
Carlone standing at second still. Callahan still in an 0-2 count. Dribbler down the first base line, right over first base, and Carlone's over to third, but it's at the cost of an out.
Yeah, I almost wish that ball hooked foul a little bit, and Callahan had another shot at it. I'm sure he does too.
So now Josh Hankins up to the plate. Josh Hankins was on our game day graphic, which you'll see between innings, and also on our Instagram and Twitter pages. If you're not following us, not sure what you're doing, definitely give the Bucs a follow.
Don't really know how you got here to YouTube if you don't follow us, but I guess there's some other avenues.
At Anchorage Bucs on Instagram and Twitter for all the latest updates. Check swing from Hankins. Dribbler going to be a tough play for Joffe. Barehanded, and the throw is high. Brings Jacob Hayes off the bag and brings Carlone in from third. It's 1-0 here in the opening frame.
Yep, that's going to go down as a single. That's a really tough play, and Joffe, not at his normal position. He is listed as a utility guy, as far as we know, but he normally plays first base, so seeing him over there at third is a little bit unusual, but nothing he can do about that. A super tough play.
And smart from Hayes to come off the bag. Didn't want to try and stretch and have Hankins over in scoring position as well. Hankins is going with the pitch, which is called a strike. Throw down to second, and it's a stolen base for Josh Hankins.
Really good job. Not the best throw out of Dustin Eisenagel. Thought he was just a little bit slow getting up from his position and then throwing down there, and was also a little bit towards third base, so not the best chance for an out.
See if Max Ross can put in another run for these Bucs. He takes a ball inside. We've talked about it time and time again in these first innings. Even though you already have a run, it's still a great opportunity with a runner in scoring position. Max Ross tied for third on the team with 11 RBIs.
And I like sending Hankins there. You know, being up already one run, you got your one run. Why not be a little bit more greedy on the base pass? You know what I'm saying?
And worst comes to worst, you have Max Ross leading off the second inning. It's not the worst thing ever. A guy who often bats leadoff for the Bucs, and not surprisingly, not a fan of that call.
Yeah, it looked a little bit off the plate, but just going to have to try to be competitive with it, foul it off. But it is still early in the game. Guys still getting used to the strike zone.
Deuce is wild. Hankins dancing around at second. He's going for third. Pitches outside, and no throw from Eisenagel.
Interesting. I guess Hankins got a good enough jump that Eisenagel didn't feel the need to throw it down there, but I'm a little bit confused on why he didn't just give it a chance.
I'm a little bit surprised as well. Now a wild pitch could score Hankins, and they'll have a much easier time scoring on a single. Hankins dancing around at third, forced Ray to step off, and I don't blame him. Joffy's not really holding him over there. Payoff pitch to Max Ross. Fouled off.
Love what Hankins is doing. Now gets another opportunity to kind of mess with Ray out there on the mound, and I think that would help Max Ross a lot, especially in a 3-2 count. Ross knows what Hankins is doing over there on the corner of his eye.
As long as it doesn't distract Ross, I'm all for it. And that one's in the dirt. Ross will take first base. And now 2 on with 2 out. Sixth man to the plate. It's the second baseman, Peyton Knowles.
And Ross has a great eye. We've seen that all year, his ability to get on first base, and he's an absolute speedster. So you definitely could tell that he had a walk in mind with a 3-2 count and seeing Hankins over there messing with Ray. And obviously Ray a little bit uncomfortable too. And 9 walks for Max Ross in 16 games. Now 10.
Yeah, now 10, and now 164 for the Bucs. That's good for tops in the league. That one hit, one bounce over to first. Scooped up by Hayes, and he takes it to the bag. But the Bucs do get one. It's 1-0 as we head to the second. Back for the second inning after Josh Hankins' RBI single scored Cole Carlone. Bucs leave a couple stranded, but do get the lead. A long rest for Garvey Rummery, who threw 19 pitches in a 1-2-3 first inning. And because of that, he'll face 4, 5, and 6. And like I talked about, positions 4, 5, and 6 for the Chinooks. Called strike. Can you remember ever seeing that? 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 all in the order at their defensive position.
No, but I noticed it earlier, but I thought I just saw 5, 6, and 7. I did not even see the 3 and the 4 before that, but it is really wacky.
No balls and a strike. Now 1 ball and 1 strike to Louis Zuleika. After him, it'll be Jordan Joffe and then Oliver Dagenhart. Rumry shakes off Andrew Lamb. Now gets something that he likes. And rightfully so, finds the bottom of the zone.
I think for Rummery, just try to focus on, once again, another 1-2-3 inning. Did a great job last inning, but just lowering the pitch count a little bit. Trying to attack these hitters and get them to roll over on something early on in the count.
And usually a guy that does a pretty good job with that, not letting the pitch count get too high. I saw him do that masterfully on the peninsula in 7 1/3. This one hit in the air to right field. Riley Hunsaker drifting over towards the line has plenty of time, and there's the first out of the second inning.
That'll do. Now a tough batter in Jordan Joffe. So we'll see how Rummery tries to approach him. He's given the Bucs a lot of trouble. I would love to have his specific total stats against the Bucs. I don't know if that's something we could pull up, but he has hit us really well.
He certainly has a home run against the Bucs.
You just pulled it up, but he's hitting under 240. So nothing that blows you away. Definitely pretty good in terms of, or I would say a little bit better than pretty good for ABL standards.
0-1 from Rumry. Hit on the right side and over the leaping Cole Carlone. And like you talked about, even though his average might not be the highest, he plays his best ball against these Bucs.
Oh, 100%. He is always hitting the ball hard against the Bucs and gappers, line drives too.
Adding up all those numbers right now against these Bucs, and
yeah, seeing a lot of fireworks.
A lot of hits. Joffe at first, Dagenhart at the plate. If Rumry wants to face the minimum again, probably going to need a ground ball double play. Starts Dagenhart off with a ball. 9 balls and 17 strikes for Rumry so far.
And I don't even really mind that base hit, because if Rummery can get a ground ball, it's honestly better and quicker that he gave up that base hit.
Throw it first, Joffe back safely. And against the Bucs, by my math, which obviously could be a little bit off, but I'd like to pride myself thinking that it's pretty good. 8 for 23, so over 333 for Joffe against the Bucs. And there goes Dagenhart's bat. All the Bucs are outside the dugout scrambling away. Brett Castillo is enjoying it. He thinks it's pretty funny.
Torres tried to move, but I think he ran into the wall that's right, I would say, on the side of the dugout, and he tried to get out of the way, but he's lucky that bat just narrowly avoided him. And the guys the troublemakers at the end of the dugout, I like to call them, are usually sitting down, and there's always a whole bunch of them over there. And I don't know if there was a scarce crowd before that bat flew or if it was after the bat flew, but there's about 4 guys over there, and it's usually at least 6, 7, or 8.
Adam Enyart giving Eddie Torres some fun for running into that wall. Zane Kelly over there, done playing for the Bucs after that finger injury. His flight out early, 2-something in the morning on Thursday morning, but he said he'll probably be here to root on the Bucs one last time tomorrow. 12 o'clock start. Should be no problem making his flight. Some more pine tar for Dagenhart. Keeps the bat on his shoulder. So yeah, like I was saying though, 8 for 23 coming in. So now 9 for 24 for Jordan Joffe against these Bucs, and that's, I'd say, probably over 100 points higher than his usual average. 2-1, swung on and missed from Dagenhart. Couldn't catch up to the fastball.
Yeah, and Rummery's fastball looks electric so far in these first 5 or so batters, but he's just done a good job of locating every pitch that he wants, and that one pitch to Joffe wasn't a bad pitch at all. Joffe just hit it where it was pitched, on the outside part of the plate, and brought his hands in and was able to poke it out into right field.
Count even to Dagenhart. Swung on and missed. That pitch way inside, a bit of a jam sandwich to Dagenhart.
Ooh, not the sandwich he wants to eat right now. That pitch was nasty by Rummery and just could not hold it up.
You were given the sign for a sword over here in the booth, and you can bring out any cliche you want. Dagenhart looked silly, and Rummery got to feel good about that. Strikeout number 2 on his day. Got one in the first, now one here in the second. Seventh place hitter and left fielder Brady Groves. Makes it super easy to remember what position these guys are playing.
Yeah.
3 through 7. Joffy's still at first. They check on him over there. Nothing doing.
That's a really good pickoff move from Rummery. The lefty move and has the snake eyes with it too. He's able to act like he's going back towards home plate, but in reality he's inching towards first base.
A little surprised he's so worried about Joffy over there. Only one stolen base attempt on the season. He's 1 for 1. But maybe less worried about Joffy and more just confident in that move, thinking maybe he can catch him sleeping.
Yeah, but Joffy does not have a big lead. I think he's definitely worried about Rummery and his moves. So from Garvey out there, definitely try to focus on the batter, especially down 2-0 now.
Yeah, lead is really not very big. Comes home with it. And hair upstairs. 3 balls, no strikes now as Sam Kwapnowski waits on deck. Brady Groves way out ahead. Rummery looking to find the strike zone for the first time to the left fielder. And he gets that job done.
Maybe Rummery just trying to work backwards and on Groves and act like he's maybe paying more attention to Joffy than he actually is.
3 balls, 1 strike, fouled back, and good job by Rummery after falling behind 3-0, now working this count full.
And maybe it was his intention all along. Like Groves think you're getting ahead on him and you're too focused on the guy at first base and work all the way back and try to get a strikeout. And I don't know if obviously that's the intention, but we'll go with that.
Joffy will be going with this pitch. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top half of the second inning. Pitch from Rummery. Good job by Groves just to stay alive.
Another long at bat. Over 35 pitches now in just 2 innings, and that's just something that Rummery's going to have to work on going later into this ball game. So try to manufacture quick and efficient outs.
Just something we're not really used to seeing from Rummery. Has done a good job though, has limited the Chinooks to just 1 hit. Another 3-2 and another foul ball.
Yeah, I like that he's not getting frustrated out there though. A lot of pitchers, especially with how good Rummery's been, probably be getting frustrated at this point, but he's just making good pitch after good pitch. But like I said, the Bucs pitchers, although they have been super sharp all year, when they run into 3 ball 2 strike counts, there's foul ball after foul ball after foul ball. Eventually the Bucs pitchers usually seem to give in almost or just give up that walk.
Which is very understandable. It's hard to throw strike after strike after strike.
And at a certain point, you're like, well, maybe I'll get a first pitch pop up on the next guy. And usually the Bucs pitchers have done a good job of getting the next guy after a 3-2 count, long at bat, and foul ball after foul ball. Just want to see Garvey try to win this battle right now.
8th pitch of the at-bat. Rummery versus Groves. And we'll see pitch number 9.
And now definitely starting to get a little bit tired of this at bat as he dips that head back right after. But Rummery just keep attacking. Hopefully Groves will swing over something.
19 pitches in the first for Rummery. This pitch will be his 20th of the second. Another full count offering. Swung on and missed. At long last, Rummery gets Groves. It's with the swinging strikeout. Joffy is left stranded, and another 0 on the board for the Chinooks. 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the second. bottom of the second inning as our substitute PA announcer, Sean Maltby, announcing the designated hitter, Dylan Maltby. Bit of a cool moment. Dylan been a part of this team for a few years now, and towards the end of the season, seeing more playing time with the departures. Takes a ball on the inside, and you brought it up yesterday. Maltby seems to always do a good job of getting deep into counts and making pitchers work against him.
Yeah, type of guy that always takes the first pitch pretty much no matter what.
He's taken the first and the second here against Ray, who threw 26 pitches in that first inning where the Bucs produced one run, a Josh Hankins RBI single, scoring Cole Carlone, and that disciplined eye from Maltby working well for him so far. 3 balls and no strikes. 3-0 catches the bottom of the zone. Now 3-1. Maltby, Hunsaker, and Burns 7, 8, and 9 for the Bucs after bringing 6 to the plate in the first. 3-1. Breaking ball in there. Good job by Ray to fight back after missing with 3 straight to start off Maltby.
You know, we've seen some inconsistencies with his command. He's been really sharp at some points and at some points not.
Sharp that time. Maltby couldn't catch up to the high heat, and it's the first strikeout for Aiden Ray in the ABL this season.
Yeah, really good sequence after falling behind 3-0. Of course, Maltby probably not having the green light, taking that initial strike and then filling up the zone really nicely.
So now Riley Hunsaker told us before the game the USC Trojan will be transferring to Cal Baptist. Obviously, transferring so common these days in any sport, baseball no different. Hunsaker ahead 2-0, and like you said, luckily with Max Ross back, good that Hunsaker doesn't have to test that hamstring in center field every game.
Much shorter run out there on right.
3 balls, no strikes.
The count's not over yet, though. We saw him come back against Maltby, and we've seen him find his command after he gets the leadoff single from Carlone.
Found it that time, 3-1. 15 balls, 21 strikes through 36 pitches for Aiden Ray. Hunsaker check swing, doesn't matter, it's a called strike. So second time in a row we've seen him work it back 3-2. It's so weird to see.
Yeah, it is really weird to see. He's honestly setting himself up for failure, but he's able to work around it.
This one bounced right over his head. Going to be a tough play for Zulaika, and he can't make it. It's a 3-2 single for Riley Hunsaker.
Well, and that is a good job by Hunsaker because, well, with those back-to-back at-bats, you can kind of get a little too predictable, and maybe Hunsaker is thinking, well, he just went 3-0 on me after going 3-0 on Maltby beforehand, came back with 3 really competitive pitches to him, and no shade to Maltby. Of course, he didn't know what to expect after getting a 3-0 count, but then Hunsaker knows, well, I'm probably going to get a competitive strike here from Ray.
Will Burns puts a bunt down. Ray fields it and makes the throw to first, but Burns picks up the sacrifice and moves Hunsaker into scoring position now with 2 away.
Yeah, and a really good play by Ray out there. Knew he was going to have to barehand it, or didn't. I wouldn't say he had to barehand that, but it was definitely a barehandable type of play, and he made it really well and set it up perfectly.
So now Cole Carlone, he got things started in the bottom of the first for the Bucs with a single right back up the middle and came all the way around to score. Hunsaker will be going on the crack of the bat with 2 away. His hit also coming up the middle. As Carlone fouls this one off. A lot of foul balls from Cole Carlone. Seems like he's often just trying to get that timing right, and by the end of his at-bats, he usually does.
Yeah. He's always a guy that usually has a longer at-bat.
This one off the glove of Ray and over to short. Degenhardt unable to come up with it. And be interested to see how that one scored. I would assume an infield single for Cole Carlone, and it looks like that's what it's going to be.
Yep, you're exactly right, Will. That was a really tough play, and the fact that Ray almost made it at his height, being about what 6'5", so being 6'5" and not able to make that play, just hitting off your glove, it's definitely not an error on him. And of course, Dagenhart had no chance at getting Carlone, who's really tough to get down the line. So a single on all facets, even though it could look like an error in some books, I guess.
First pitch to Andrew Lamb finds the zone, and wouldn't be surprised at all to see Carlone up to some trickery over there at first base with a super speedy Riley Hunsaker at third.
I don't think we'll have to wait long, Will. Probably on this next pitch, Carlone gets the green light.
First to check over there is Aiden Ray might be thinking the same way. Andrew Lamb tied for first on this team with the man at first, Cole Carlone, in the RBI department. Chance to break that tie with a hit here. Carlone is going, pitches inside, throw down to second is cut off by Dagenhart, and Carlone picks up the stolen base.
Really good job by Sanagorski and Hunsaker over there at third. Initially, I thought Eisenegger was going to try to get Carlone at second, but I think they know his speed and probably knew that even if they had thrown it all the way down, they might not get Carlone, and if they do, Hunsaker is definitely darting towards home.
So now two in scoring position for Andrew Lamb, who has a 1-1 count from Aiden Ray. Now let's make that 2-1. First base is open, but that would bring up Ryan Callahan. It's kind of pick your poison with this Bucs lineup.
Absolutely.
If you're Aiden Ray, you'd probably rather not pitch to Lamb or Callahan. Definitely have to pitch to one. 3 balls and 1 strike, but like we've seen from Ray this inning, that definitely doesn't mean that Lamb's getting first base.
Not at all, and I think it's actually a really good thing because Lamb probably knows, yeah, I got a 3-1 count, but I saw what happened to Mulphy, saw what happened to Hunsaker. I could get a competitive pitch right here.
Instead, he doesn't, though. That one's low. He does take first base and brings up the previously mentioned super dangerous Ryan Callahan. Came into play hitting .299, grounded out in the first, but if he can pick up a hit here, not only would he go above 300, but he would probably get into double digits in the RBI department with 8 right now, and speedy runners all over the bags. Lamb at first, Carlone at second, Hunsaker at third. Bucs already leading 1-0, but a huge spot in this game to increase that lead. Bases loaded, 2 away, a foul tip from Callahan. Aiden Ray's pitch count getting up there. His 48th misses upstairs.
Yeah, similar to Rummery, just struggling with these longer at-bats, especially for him getting to a 3-0 count and having to work all the way back, or vice versa.
1-1 breaking ball, and that's a beauty.
Yeah, really good pitch by Ray. Really good get-back pitch, and get 2 strikes on Callahan.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Too high. Josh Hankins waits on deck. He has the RBI for the Bucs so far.
July 12th, last RBI for Ryan Callahan.
Fights this one off to see another 2-ball, 2-strike pitch with 2 away here in the second inning. Deuce is really wild on this second day of the week. Tuesday evening here at Mulcahy Stadium. Second game of the day here at this stadium. Callahan puts this one on the ground, diving past Zulaika. Hunsaker scores. Carlone's coming around third. He's going to score. The ball goes off of Aiden Ray, so Lamb's going to go to third. Callahan's going to go to second, and it's a 2 RBI single for Ryan Callahan. When were you saying his last RBI is? It's tonight.
Heck yeah, it is. Callahan, a great job, and that was just me willing it, Will. I hope you know that.
It worked.
Yep, and a great job taking advantage of that misplay. It looked like it ricocheted off a couple of bodies, actually.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that would be scored after the initial 2 RBIs.
Yeah, it is interesting because it's not really an error, I would say. It just really ricocheted off someone's glove. I'm just probably just gonna be an advance
on
of
the
a runner.
Throw, yeah. And they're going to check on Aiden Ray to make sure he's okay. Not sure where that one hit him. See if he needs to throw any warm-up tosses, but huge for the Bucs to get those 2 more runs here in the second inning. 1 in the first, 2 in the second now. 2 RBI single from Ryan Callahan. Zulaika gave it his best effort, That ball was just hit too sharply.
Yeah, I've been thought that he might be able to do it and get his glove on it, but that one just snuck right under it. Starting to wonder now if it may be also a misplay from him. It was a really tough play in general, but looked like he had room to get his glove down, just unfortunately couldn't.
Still two in scoring position as Hankins fouls off his first pitch that he sees. He already has a single and an RBI and could add to both those tallies here. Lamb at third, Callahan at second. Would love to see the Bucs put up a big number in this game. High in the air. This is not going to leave the infield. Aiden Ray calls everybody off, but instead it's going to be Eisenagel. But not until the Bucs score 2 runs in this second inning. It's now 3-0 as we head to the third. Third inning, another extended rest for Garvey Rumry, but he'll take it if it means the Bucs are scoring, and that's been the case each of the first couple of innings. 1 run in the first, 2 in the second, hopefully 3 in the third, but first Rumry on the hill. 8-9-1 for the Chinooks, the first of which is the right fielder Sam Kwapnowski. 39 pitches so far for Rumry, giving up just the 1 hit. First pitch on the ground. Good chance for Peyton Knowles. Backhands it, sets his feet, and he got him. Carlone with a great stretch. Knowles didn't have his footing perfectly under him. Didn't get everything he would have wanted on that throw, but Carlone doing a good job to use that big frame.
Yeah, and the turf, although there's upsides to it, there's also downsides, and that's one of them. It's been raining these past couple of days. So obviously for Knowles, it is really easy to slip, especially going that way. And I love the backhanded play. And I love that even though he didn't get a lot on that throw, he still got it a lot further than 95% of people.
And kept his composure. That was the most important part to making that play, I'd say.
And the throw was on target. Of course, didn't have a lot on it, but if you saw the way he slipped, I know it's hard on everyone else, on everyone's screen at home to see how he slipped, but if you go back and watch, it really is impressive how much he actually got on that throw.
Really is. Great play by Knowles, who's been playing second more and more for these Bucs. As Rumry now able to find the zone to bring it to a 2-1 count. And speaking of second base, a new player has arrived for the Bucs, Robert Vandergrift, out of Ottawa University in Arizona. We know that obviously Coach Montez's school, Christian Powell, playing there, as well as Eddie Torres. Vandergrift not in the lineup obviously tonight, but could see him somewhat soon. A couple of infielders leaving the Bucs shortly. Going to be another chance for Knowles, this time to his left, and a much easier play. High throw though. Luckily, Carlone able to gobble it up. 2 ground ball outs. Both of them hit to Peyton Knowles, so he'll be ready as Dustin Eisenagel comes up to the plate for his second appearance. He was out on a ball on the right side, a really long at-bat. Hit it in foul territory. Carlone able to get that one to get things started in this game, just past 6:15. Remery looking for his second 1-2-3 inning of the game. Had one in the first. And so far this inning has really kept that pitch count down.
Yeah, that's been huge, and that's what he really needs to focus on. Doesn't necessarily need the 1-2-3. Obviously, that would help, but this will help too.
This will definitely help. High fly ball on the left side. Josh Hinkins has no problems with it, and Garvey Remery has no problems in this third inning. Lightning quick, nothing doing for the Chinooks. Back to the hot Bucs bats. Back for the bottom of the third, a lightning quick top half. Thank you for that, Garvey Remery. He's pitched well. That was his quickest inning yet. Second 1-2-3 as Max Ross gets the Bucs started here in the third. Looking to keep the scoring going. 1 run in the first, 2 in the second. Expecting 3 here in the third. Would go with the theme of those matching positions in the batting order for the Chinooks.
A lot of synchronicities here. That always bodes well for anything.
Ross walked his first time to the plate. Seen him taking a bunch of walks lately and in a good spot here, 3-0, but we've seen Aiden Ray battle back from that situation.
And with this situation right now, I think every Bucs hitter should have the green light.
2 walks for Ross yesterday, and now 2 today. Walk on 4 pitches to get things started, and that's not the guy you want on first base with no outs if you're the Chinooks.
Not at all. That is someone who's going to cause a ruckus on the base pass. Probably going to snag a bag, and if you just throw something that gets away from Chinooks, he's going to swipe another one and potentially get himself all the way to third base in a matter of just 2 or 3 pitches.
Ross at first, Knowles at the plate, and Ross is going on the first pitch. It's way inside, and because of that, Chinooks can't even make a throw.
Yep, great job by Max, and a really good jump. I don't think that he was getting caught either way, even if it was a really good pitch. But yeah, that one not favoring a throw down at all.
We'll see if he tries to take third as well. Maybe not the most likely with no outs, especially if the pitcher is struggling with his command. And if you're struggling with your command, probably don't want to be facing Peyton Knowles, team leader in walks with 17. There's a strike.
I was talking with Knowles after the game because I mentioned on the broadcast how he is almost too selfless in an instance where he draws so many walks that we never really see him try to hit balls in the gap. And a lot of times that, players are usually told, just try to get yourself on. You don't need to have the biggest hit in the world. I think Peyton Knowles tells himself that every single at-bat. He does such a good job of just getting those singles and getting himself on base. But I'd love to see him take a mighty hack.
Instead, he's going to take first base again. 18th time this season, extending his lead at the top, and first 2 Bucs to the plate have reached via walk on just 9 total pitches.
Yep. And going back to Knowles, there's so many other guys like Carlone, Max Ross, Callahan, a lot of guys that have a lot of power, especially Lamb, who hits the ball into the gap a lot. So you've got guys that can split gaps, hit balls to the wall. And not that Peyton Knowles doesn't have that ability. He's got some big arms. I've definitely seen him up close, and he might be small in stature, but he's got some big guns and definitely could get a hold of a baseball.
Maltby showing bunt early. Fouls off the first pitch from Ray, trying to get Ross to third and Knowles to second. Still none away here in the bottom of the third.
Prime opportunity for the Bucs just to keep scoring on these Chinooks. And I said earlier that despite the Bucs not doing a good job of scoring after the first inning, the Chinooks are a prime pitching staff that they could do it against.
Like we said, worst ERA in the league. But the fact that the worst ERA in the league is still in the fours goes to show how hard it is to hit in this league. Gave up 11 runs yesterday, though. Maltby now down 0-2. Expect him to swing away. Takes it inside.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that second strike was on the outside part of the plate. It would have been really tough to get that barrel out and try to bunt it down the first base line.
1 ball, 2 strikes. He's swinging away and hits it high in the infield. Aiden Ray calls everybody off, but once again, he's overruled. This time it's Jacob Hayes.
Yeah, I don't know why Ray keeps doing that. The pitcher should always know that is not your ball whatsoever.
A little bit understandable to see it the first time because it was between him and the catcher, Chinooks, so it might be easier for the pitcher, but pitcher and first baseman, it's always going to be the first baseman.
Absolutely.
So there's the first out. Unfortunately, Maltby not able to get Ross and Knowles over. Riley Hunsaker comes up now. He's 1 for 1. And takes the ball outside. And Chinooks was waiting for that strike call. Never came. Hunsaker came around to score last inning after that single. Way outside.
In a sense, it's almost hard to face Ray because you just don't know what you're going to get out of him, not just between at-bat to at-bat, but pitch to pitch. He's had that lack of command, but it's also been pretty sharp at some point.
Yeah, it's really been difficult to get a grip on what he's doing out there. He's probably confusing himself a little bit. Usually, I feel like pitchers would know if they're on or not, and he kind of just keeps going back and forth. First time on the mound for the Chinooks, so first time for Chinooks catching for him. Beautiful breaking ball, though, and almost seems like he's locating that a little bit better than the fastball.
Yeah. Well, we saw it the other day. Mose Hayes was locating that breaking ball better than the fastball.
3 balls, 1 strike to Hunsaker. That's way inside, and now the bases are loaded for the second consecutive inning. Will Burns comes to the plate, and wouldn't it be great to see him have a big base hit?
Yeah, Burns has just been struggling lately. That average creeping back closer to 200. Or I shouldn't say back because he's been hitting close to 300 this whole season, and ever since we turned the page to July, he's just been struggling a little bit and has dropped down in the order, but he's still such a sure-handed glove over there at shortstop, so not surprised that he's still getting reps, and of course with the lighter club, definitely need to have him out there. Would love to see him get going. Had a base hit the other day, but as far as yesterday's game goes, Burns was 0 for 4 with this strikeout, so another tough day for him at the park, and would just love to see his bat get really high.
On the flip side, in that tough 10-4 loss for the Bucs on the 9th, Burns was one of the bright spots. 2 for 4, a run scored and a run driven in addition to a walk. So maybe seeing these Chinooks will bring back some good fortune for him, and he's been hitting the ball hard, so
yeah,
some tough luck. We know he's good at drawing walks. Did his job last time to the plate, laying down a sac bunt. But with the bases loaded and 1 out, would love to see him at least get something to the outfield to bring home Ross and hopefully get it down in front of one of these outfielders and bring Knowles home along with him. Would definitely be a tough guy to double up, but I have to assume that that's what Ray and these Chinooks are looking for, a ball on the ground. Speed all around the bags for the Bucs. First pitch swinging. After Burns, it's Carlone in the top. Burns batting 9th, already come to the plate for a second time in this 3rd inning. Check swing, doesn't matter. Home plate umpire calls it a strike. Burns gonna have to fight. Already in a deep hole, 0-2 against Ray. Here's his 75th pitch. Almost hit Will Burns.
Yeah, brushed him off the plate a little bit. I think Burns is probably expecting Ray to go on the outside part of the plate now. Got to be ready for it.
Breaking ball, and Burns lives to see another one.
Wind blowing out from right field to left field, so if Burns can hook one into that corner, field jailbreak.
Instead, he tips this one into the mitt. It's a strikeout for Aiden Ray and a big one with the bases loaded.
Yeah, and that's just been the problem for Burns now. The strikeouts just keep going up. 27 now, and with some guys leaving, the next highest strikeout total is 9, and that's held by a couple of these Bucks. With 27 to 9, it has just been a totally different tale of getting out for Will Burns rather than the other Bucks hitters who are putting the ball in play more, I guess you could say.
So now Cole Carlone with 2 away, bases still loaded though. Carlone has scored 2 of the 3 runs for the Bucks. Looking to pick up his first RBI of the game. Takes a strike to even the count.
Ray working pretty quickly now after that mound visit. Like to see Carlone slow him down a little bit.
Carlone with a mighty hack and a good hack at that. Just missed it, fouling it straight back. Like we mentioned when Andrew Lamb came to the plate, if Carlone can pick up an RBI, he'd take the solo team lead. Trying to continue to add on runs for the Bucks, something that's been difficult of late, add on runs. Ross at third, Knowles at second, Hunsaker at first. The pitch to Carlone up the middle. Good play by Dagenhart to get to it. He flips to Zulaika, and they get Riley Hunsaker for the third out. The Bucks leave them loaded in their first scoreless inning of the game. We head to the middle, 3 innings, 3-0, Bucks lead. Another long rest for Garvey Rumry. Unfortunately, this time no more runs to the Bucks' name. He heads out for his 4th inning of work, and now up to the mic for the play-by-play. Here's Vic Maslia.
Thank you, Will. Like you said, Jaden Hill steps in to that right-handed batter's box. Him, Jacob Hayes, and Louis Zulaika do up for the Chinooks against Garvey Rummery back out on the hill. First pitch, big swing and a miss. Had Jaden Hill pretty confused in that first at-bat.
Looked kind of confused on that swing, too.
Sure did. 0-1 is in the dirt. And Jaden Hill, despite the batting average, is still a really good hitter and still a really good player for this Chinooks team, especially fielding-wise. Big swing and a miss on that one. Hitting 243, which is second to Louis Zulaika, who has a 269 batting average. So definitely one of the better hitters for the Chinooks. And he swings and misses at that one. Back-to-back strikeouts for Jaden Hill, who cannot catch up to anything that Garvey Rummery is throwing.
And Jaden Hill, not the biggest strikeout guy, 15, which is a pretty average number for a guy with as many at-bats as he has, but Rummery really has made him look lost and uncomfortable at the plate.
Jacob Hayes flew out back in the first inning to Peyton Knowles right behind second base. He takes a ball. A lot of fly balls again, but also a couple ground outs. Rummery doing a good job of inducing those, as this one is lined, and it is a fair ball down the left field line. Ryan Callahan bobbling it, now will fire it in, but it's a stand-up double for Jacob Hayes.
That was real loud off the bat. Definitely one of the hardest hit balls we've seen tonight. Probably the hardest hit ball we've seen tonight. Callahan struggling a little bit in the corner with it, but in all honesty, I don't think it really would have mattered. That had double written all over it.
Sure did. It kept tailing away from Callahan longer and longer. And by the time he got to it, Hayes was already halfway to second. So that'll bring up Luis Zulaika, who out to Hunsaker back in the first inning, or excuse me, in the second inning. First pitch he sees from Rummery, misses outside. Be interested to see how Rummery works around a one-out double. Not seeing a lot of hard contact off Rummery at all this season.
Yeah, if I'm him, got to just keep pounding the zone. And so nice that he has a little bit more of a lead to work with. You know, it's only 3 runs. It's more than the Bucs pitchers have been used to lately.
1-0 misses again upstairs. Bucs tomorrow will play a noon game. First noon game of the season. That's against the Pilots. A home game. Make up for that Mayor's Cup game that they missed. So.
Yeah, not sure how we're going to get you out of bed tomorrow. It's early for you.
It is early for me. But I'll be here. 10 o'clock. Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. You can count on that. 2-0. Ground ball out to Burns. It's short. We'll have one play, and it's at first, and it's made.
Yeah, I like that Burns took a look at third just to see if he had a chance and then thought better of it. With a 3-run lead, definitely want to get the sure out. But if Hayes wasn't hustling, then Burns would have made that throw.
It was hit any harder and right at Burns, and Hayes still went. Definitely would have had to play at third, but a good job by Jacob Hayes, noting that that chopper took a while to get out to Burns, so he wisely took the extra 90 feet. That will bring up Jordan Jaffe, their first run standing at 90 feet away. That one's outside from Garvey Rummery, and Jordan Jaffe with a single in his first at-bat. We noted that he just kills the Bucs this whole season. A big opportunity to bring in the first run for the Chinooks, down 3-0. 1-0 is hit towards Hankins. Great pick. And the throw to first in time. What a play by Josh Hankins. Love how nonchalant and easy he makes that look, but I know that that is not an easy play for Hankins. But Garvey Rummery works around the one-out double. He's one stranded. We head to the bottom of the fourth inning, still a 3-0 lead for the Bucs. Welcome back. Bottom half of the fourth inning. Great play to end the top half. Hankins making it look so easy over there. I love how he stabs that ball.
He looked like a first baseman over there, kind of taking it off the short hop, but he didn't seem to be worried about it at all.
Andrew Lamb, first pitch, skies it towards left. Out there, Brady Groves has that one down.
Yeah, Lamb putting the ball in the air, but a little bit under it. Easy play for Groves, but going back to that play by Hankins, just a gem, and we've kind of been spoiled and gotten used to great plays from him on the hot corner all season long.
Yeah, 100%. And I just love how he takes his time over there. Nothing is ever too big to handle, too hot to handle. He's just so calm and makes almost every play out there. And you'd think, oh, a guy like that, maybe he He's too relaxed out there and too comfortable as that one misses upstairs. But for Hankins, not really. He knows when it's a really tough play and he's got to hunker down and really focus on making it. 1-0 to Callahan. Catches a corner for a called strike.
And I think that relaxation kind of just comes from the game slowing down for him. It's always good to see the game slowly. When it speeds up, that's when you make mistakes, and the
Right.
game is just so slow for him in a good way.
Yep. Great way of putting it, Will. 1-1 is a called strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Reliever has started stretching out in the bullpen. Noted that Rumbury's pitch count is getting pretty high as that ball misses upstairs.
And I'm surprised I don't see anybody in the
Yeah.
bullpen for the Chinooks. This is Aiden Ray's first start of the season, and he's at 86 pitches. So very surprised nobody's out there.
2-2. That one is hammered deep into right field, but it's going to hold up for Sam Kwapnoski, who's just shy of the warning track, and that one looked absolutely pulverized.
Off the bat, I couldn't believe that Kwapnoski didn't have to go further than he went. I mean, that ball was hit really hard by Ryan Callahan, and it doesn't look like there's much wind right now, but maybe something blowing in from right field because that ball just got stuck in the air.
The wind was last blowing when I looked at it from right field to left, which could have knocked that one down, but I don't think there was much when that ball was hit. Josh Hankins takes a called strike. Also, when you get it up that high with the ball here in Anchorage, it is just so tough to get it out, as that one almost hits Hankins. But like I said, we talked about it all year. You get to a certain point where you hit it up in the air so high that it's just going to get knocked down. It almost comes directly down. 1-1 is hammered into left field. Hankins, he might have just left the ballpark. Going back, Brady Groves. That one is over the wall, and it's gone for a home run. Josh Hankins does it on both sides. A great pick at third and a home run over the left field wall. The Bucs up 4-0.
Welcome to the home run club, Josh Hankins. And after that play in the field at third base, he more than deserved that at the plate. And he's been close to hitting home runs this season. Now he finally gets the job done. And that ball was destroyed off the bat.
And that one also hit pretty high in the air, but Hankins had just enough to get it over that wall, and it must be a great feeling for Josh after that great play at third. Now Max Ross at the dish, 2 walks in his first 2 plate appearances, and he takes that one outside. That one, nice breaking ball, called strike.
Just great stuff, and sure, Callahan saying, why couldn't I have that happen to me? And Hankins hitting it just a little better.
Yeah, just a little bit less of a launch angle, hitting it a little bit more on a line, but still Hankins' ball was hit very deep and very high. 1-2 gets under it. Jordan Jaffe at third base in foul territory wraps that in leather, and that's out number 3. But that is all after a solo shot from Josh Hankins. How about that? Welcome to the home run club, just like you said, Will. We head to the 5th inning, 4-0 Bucs. Top half of the 5th inning, bombs away for Josh Hankins. And like I said, doing it on both sides. A great play to end the top half of that last inning, and then the solo shot and just pulverized into left field. And yeah, it just got over the wall, but that's because he hit it so dang high.
I mean, it's crazy how hard you have to hit the ball for it to just barely leave the ballpark. In most places, in most cities, as well as most ballparks, that ball's way over the wall. And probably Ryan Callahan had a home run before that, and it would be back to back. Instead, Hankins hits that about as hard as you can, and it's just over the wall, but he'll take it for sure.
0-1's called strike. Degenhart was squaring at the first pitch, but then let it go by for a strike. Rumbery quickly ahead 0-2. Bucs now lead it 4-0 thanks to Josh Hankins' solo bomb. Next one, ground ball foul. Hankins ready to make another nice play.
He should be feeling himself now. Smooth play defensively, and then the bomb, a little smile towards his Bucs dugout.
Hankins, a bat that is heating up the last couple of games, last 3 or 4 games, I would say. He's been a sure-handed glove, whether he's at second or third. But that bat's starting to come alive as that one falls outside for Garvey Rummery, 1-2. Hankins now hitting .242. It's definitely creeping up there. 1-2 swung on and missed. Rummery takes care of the the first batter he sees in Degenhart. That'll bring up Brady Groves.
And now 261 for Josh Hankins because he's 2 for 3. That wasn't even his only hit of the game. But yeah, no, he's just hitting better and better, and he's been in the lineup just about every day.
Big swing and a miss from Brady Groves, missed every stitch of it. And Josh Hankins, whether he's at second or third base, you want his glove. And you also want his bat because he's done a great job of getting himself on base. 0-1 misses upstairs. His on-base percentage is .359, and of course that is a little bit on the lower end for the Bucs standpoint, but a .359 OBP is really good in general.
And it's higher now.
Of course. 1-1, big swing and a miss. Rummery looks super dominant in this inning.
Yeah, and he struck out Groves to end the second inning. So see if you can get him here again in the fifth.
1-2, just misses a bit inside. A really good pitch by Rummery.
Yeah, really like that pitch, especially 1-2. Was probably a couple inches in off the plate, but you have that luxury to work with ahead in the count.
2-2. Swung on and missed. Looked like a changeup tailing away from the righty batter Groves. And Rummery now starting to really fill up the zone. He's got 6 strikeouts, and I didn't say it out loud, but after the first couple innings, saying that he had 3 strikeouts after 2 frames, that this is definitely going to be one of his starts where he's got that strikeout working for him, and it is the case. Batter now, Sam Kwapnowski. First pitch he sees, beautiful breaking ball. Got a lot of horizontal break to it.
Sure does. Fastball, breaking ball, it's all working for Rummery, and love seeing those quick innings with a few less strikeouts to enable him to be here in the fifth.
0-1, beautiful pitch and a swing and a miss from Kwapnowski. This could be a record-setting inning for Garvey Rummery in terms of how fast it's been. No balls, 2 strikes, way ahead of Kwapnowski. The pitch, and Rummery, oh, he does have it. He struck out the side. Not really sure what it was, a check swing, or maybe he foul-tipped it in the mid of Lamb. It might have been that second one. So Garvey Rummery strikes out the side, all of them down swinging. We head to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Score 4-0, a gem going on here at Mulcahy Stadium. quickly back here for the bottom half of the 5th inning.
I can't believe Aiden Ray's still out there.
Oh yeah, I thought something crazy happened, but yeah, that is crazy.
About to throw his 95th pitch by my count.
I mean, he's given up the 4 runs, which isn't too crazy. Nothing more than the Bucs have scored as of late.
I mean, he hasn't pitched poorly. He's done a good job of eating some innings here. I'm just a little bit surprised. I mean, how long are they going to let him go?
Bases Peyton Knowles, 1-0 pitch is a called strike. I'm just maybe guessing that they have run into a lot of sore arms. They lost 11-0 yesterday. I'm not sure how many pitchers they used and how long they went, but maybe just trying to save the bullpen.
I guess so. I mean, Aiden Ray just arriving on this Chinooks team, and they're sending him right into the thick of it. Face the #1 team, #1 batting average.
2-1, a ground ball towards second. Zulika ranges over and fires a strike to first, 1 down.
Good stuff from Ray, though. I mean, gets the ground balls. Really tells you a lot about a pitcher, what they're capable of. Obviously, doesn't likely have the same velocity that we saw in the first couple of innings, but how can you grind it out towards the end of an outing?
First one to Dylan Maltby misses upstairs, and if the Chinooks were aiming for Ray to go as long as he could, pitch as many innings as he could, I'm sure that 5 innings of 4-run ball is not what they hoped for him. Of course, that leaves 4 more innings to cover for the bullpen. I'm sure that if they were aiming for him to go 100 pitches, they'd at least want him to go 6. Called strike to Dylan Maltby.
Well, he's at 100 now, and if the Bucs can get some guys on, I don't know if he's going to be able to make it through this inning.
2-1. Breaking ball misses. 3 balls, 1 strike. Looks like it's Eli Lipinski up in the Bucs bullpen. 3-1 in the dirt. That's a 1-out walk for Dylan Maltby.
And we talked about it. Maltby, really good eye up there at the plate, and uses it to advantage there.
So that'll bring up Riley Hunsaker. Hunsaker, a walk and a single, and he scored a run. First pitch he sees is a called strike from the home plate umpire. Wind picking up again, blowing out from left field. Right to left is that wind gust. If that was blowing during Hankins' home run, that might be a screamer.
Yeah, the players on the football field playing soccer over there would have had to watch out for that ball coming towards them.
Yeah. And that would hook too. And honestly, probably glad he didn't have the wind, or that might be close to a foul ball, actually. That one gets away from the first baseman. Maltby is going to head to second now. Here comes the throw, and it hits Maltby. So that helps.
That's a break. Maltby was a little bit indecisive leaving first base, and it would have been a close play at second, and kind of luckily got in the way.
Yeah, and just based off of how Dagenhart was about to field that ball, it looks like Maltby probably would have been out, but maybe he would have been able to get around it, especially since that throw wasn't that good. And obviously hit Maltby, so a huge break for the Bucs, or at least a pretty big break. Hunsaker still at the dish, takes another called strike.
And it's going to go down as an error on Ray because that throw over to Hayes was bounced, and that's what caused the problems in the first place.
Hunsaker down 0-2. The pitch is up and away, and just curious why Maltby was so indecisive leaving first base. Usually that's a play that they immediately, any base runner will dart to second base or decide to stay.
He was probably just timing it up so that he'd be in that spot so the ball would hit his foot.
Well, he did a great job. 1-2, that plunks Hunsaker. And he almost nails the umpire with his bat, and hopefully that was a pleasant exchange.
Yeah, he immediately apologized. Clearly no ill intent. And I think the home plate umpire saw with that immediate apology, obviously not mad at the home plate umpire for a hit by pitch. Nothing he can do to prevent that, and Hunsaker will take his base that way.
I'm wondering if Hunsaker regrets not trying to get out of the way a little bit more. That probably would have been a wild pitch, would have advanced to Maltby and given Hunsaker another attempt. As Will Burns swings over the top of that. Wasn't a 3-ball count to Hunsaker.
Yeah, and he kind of backed up to maybe try to get out of the way, but that pitch was so far into him that backing up almost brought him into the ball. It was almost behind him.
0-1, big cut and a miss. Burns is confused on that breaking ball. Ray's still out there. Just needs a ground ball. Bucs looking for some more padding on their 4-0 lead. 0-2 pitch and a big swing and a miss. Will Burns, just 3 pitches and he's retired.
Yeah, just not at his best right now. A tough stretch. Obviously, players always going to go through that. We're just not used to seeing it because of how well he was doing earlier in the season. Hopefully, he can get some tips and get things turned around. But still, another chance, like we harp on, another chance here for the Bucs to add on runs. You never know when the Chinooks might have a rally, and Carlone knows a thing or two about what that pitcher wants in terms of run support.
2 outs now as Carlone takes that one downstairs for ball 1. Maltby aboard at second with the walk. Hunsaker with the hit by pitch over there at first. In the bottom half of the 5th inning, Bucs looking to add on as Ray will step off.
And Carlone already having a Carlone day at the plate. 2 hits, 2 runs scored. Obviously playing the flawless ball that we're used to in the field, also at first base.
Next pitch he sees is a called strike, and given that Ray has gone now past 110 pitches, I would assume that they're just totally trying to save this bullpen, and they've gone a lot of innings, a lot of sore arms, probably not a lot of guys ready to go. 1-1, called strike. That is surprising to me because the Chinooks, although they don't have the biggest pitchers-only staff, they have a huge pitching staff in general, made up a lot of by these position players. Ton of position players for the Chinooks can also pitch. Wapnoski, Peyton Neiman, both guys hitting today. 1-2 misses up and away. Shane Steffen can play in the field and he can pitch as well.
Yeah, at the same time, the Chinooks play tomorrow, and by my count, that will be their 10th game in 8 days with 2 doubleheaders. And so, yeah, I guess a little understandable.
Deuce's wild pitch fouled away by Cole Carlone. Ray will try again. So, yeah, that's a lot of games and not a lot of days. So,
or excuse me, 9th game in 7 days. They started this stretch of games on the 18th, had a doubleheader on the 19th, had a doubleheader back on Sunday, and finally on Thursday they'll get a day off.
2-2 again. This is outside. Good eye by Carlone. Ray really wanted that one. Ray also has to be careful going on the outside part of the plate to Carlone. Has that oppo power and can drill it to the other side of the field.
Yeah, watch out on that soccer field.
True that. Payoff pitch to come. Runners will have a head start. There they go. 3-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Eisenegel knew it, and so did Ray. So Ray gets through 5 innings, over 110 pitches, and he takes care of the Bucs. Leaves 2 men on base as we head to the 6th inning. Still a 4-0 score for the Bucs as they lead it here. Top of the 6th inning. Garvey Rummery out. In is Eli Lipinski for his 8th appearance and his 7 appearances before tonight. 5 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, good for a 5.06 ERA. And for Lipinski, we've seen him pitch more, I would say, in the non-league games where he's filled up a lot of innings for this Bucs team, but also has looked pretty good in the league games that he's playing, despite it being a small sample size, Will.
Yeah, pitched a clean 8th inning in Sunday's 4-3 loss against the Miners. Did have a rough outing against these Chinooks back on July 7th, but that was coming off of super short rest. And like I talked about, his arm just wasn't ready for him to pitch again.
So he'll face 9-1-2 and a really good first pitch to start. A big swing and a miss from Peyton Neiman.
And I don't think he'll be too worried about these Chinooks because back on June 7th, he had a scoreless inning with just 1 hit in the Bucs' first win of the season, that 1-0 game.
0-1 gets a ground ball to short. Will Burns on a couple tricky hops has it, and the throw to first is in time. 1 out.
Yeah, stressless first out, soft ground ball to a sure-handed fielder in Will Burns for Eli Lipinski, but definitely got to give a lot of credit to Garvey Rummery. We've gotten used to it, but another great day on the mound. 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 7 strikeouts for Rummery, and that .39 ERA is now going down.
It's unbelievable. I mean, to be sub-1 is so difficult, but sub .3?
I'll calculate it here in a second.
Mathematician over here. Part-timer. Dustin Eisenagel is at the plate. 1-0 count on him. Pitch by Lipinski. Called strike on the inner half. Both Rummery and Rose ERAs under 1. Zandrose .94. 1-1 pitch, check swing. Looks like he went, and he did.
Yeah, I now have Garvey Rummery at a .32. Disgusting.
And Andrew Rudd, also a sub-1 ERA, .43 in 21 innings pitched. So some really good arms for this Bucs team. 1-2 is too far outside.
Almost got a swing.
Back-to-back check swings. That one definitely didn't go around on it. 2 balls, 2 strikes to the leadoff batter, Eisenagel. Pitch misses upstairs. Wind has settled down a little bit again. Still another overcast, cloudy day in Anchorage, and the sun has just been not present at all, and we have missed it a lot, I would say, because definitely brings you that heat you desperately need in the summer, as this one is a bloop into left field, long run for Callahan, but it hangs up just enough for him to get there, out number 2. And like I was saying, almost want the sun here up in Anchorage because you still got that breeze. You don't have the humidity. Honestly, it's too chilly with no sun here, I think. Well, what do you think?
For me, I'm more worried about our camera, which does much better when there's no heat, but I think we've got it under control.
Yeah.
So I guess we would be okay with the heat. Luckily, I'm more just worried about the rain, and so far so good today.
So Jaden Hill switches around. He'll bat on the left side to face the righty Lipinski, and a big swing and miss at that. On the right-handed side, facing Rummery, he looked really confused in those 2 at-bats. 2 strikeouts, 1 looking, 1 swinging. He just never really saw the ball coming out of Rummery's shoot. 0-1, another called strike.
And that looking strikeout on Jaden Hill, the only looking strikeout of the 7 for Garvey Rummery.
Everything else, just pure domination. 0-2, fouled back. I agree with the sun now. I feel like the rain is definitely more troublesome for us up here, but that sun, need that vitamin D. Is that vitamin D?
Maybe, I think.
0-2 misses outside.
Sounds right.
Vitamin D, yeah.
No matter what the weather is, the circadian rhythms are all out of whack here in Anchorage in the summer.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Jaden Hill. Pitch by Lipinski misses low and inside. And I will say the one thing also about the heat is it does get really hot where we're staying. So I like it when it's a little bit cloudy out, got that nice breeze. There's no AC. which is not surprising considering we're up here in Anchorage. Deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs for Jaden Hill. That misses inside, and a good fight by Jaden Hill, working count all the way back into his favor.
Yeah, one last word on the heat. I was kind of warned before I came up here. The weird thing is it doesn't really cool down at night because the sun is out for so long, and I hadn't really thought about it until now, but it's really true. You don't have to add on a bunch of layers at nighttime.
3-2 pitch by Lipinski, popped up. Straight up the chimney chute. Lipinski trying to call someone off, and Hankins now going to take it, and that was a little bit more sketchy than we were anticipating. But they get the job done. Josh Hankins, of course, comes over and saves the day. Lipinski does not get to catch a pop fly tonight. Maybe another night, though. So we head to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Still a 4-0 lead for the Bucs. Bottom half of the 6th inning. And we're now aided Ray's night, is done. Peyton Neiman is newly on the hill. He was the designated hitter for the Chinooks and now will also be pitching for the time being. Dustin Eisenagel sends that down towards second base for Neiman. This is his 14th appearance. He has the most appearances by a good margin on the Chinooks team. He's 1-0, everything coming out of the bullpen. 21 in a third inning, so doesn't pitch a ton of innings when he comes out there. Usually a 1 or 2 inning type of guy. 24 hits, 12 earned runs, good for a 5.06 ERA.
And like you mentioned, 1-0, that win coming last time out on the bump. As that one misses low. That was back on Sunday in the 12-7 win for the Chinooks. And actually, looking at it now, I think that win may have been misattributed, but 3 innings of no-hit, no-run ball for him. Actually, no, I take that back. Apologies. Neiman pitched the 4th through 6th inning, and the Chinooks mounting a bit of a comeback in the 6th after some scoreless innings in the middle of that one. 3 innings, no hits, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. So getting his outs with the ball in play, but not going to get balls in play pitching like this to Andrew Lamb.
Yep, 3 straight balls to start for Lamb. Pete Neiman struggling with that command as he shakes his head out there on the bump. Next one, nowhere near. 4-pitch walk to start.
And he struggled against the Bucs in one of his outings. That was way back on June 12th. 3 hits, 3 earned runs in an inning and 2/3. That was a 12-7 Bucs win. Has pitched 2 more times, neither of them super recently, in 2 outings, a total of an inning and 2/3. 3 hits, but no runs in either of those 2 appearances.
That'll bring up Ryan Callahan. Leadoff man aboard for the Bucs. Good opportunity to add on now. That one misses downstairs. Hankins on deck, coming off that big solo blast.
Yeah, and would love to see the Bucs add on. Add-on runs, so important to kind of crushing a team's hopes of coming back.
It's got to feel good for the Bucs already. 3 innings, which they've scored runs in, and yeah, it's been 1 run in the first and 1 run in the fourth, but still, anything is better than the goose eggs left after the first inning.
Or a couple of times the goose eggs left the whole game.
1-0 is a called strike on the outer half. Bullpen has gotten pretty busy, even with Lipinski having a clean 1-2-3 inning. But it doesn't look like anyone's actually throwing the ball. Just a couple guys standing up there and talking. See if Lipinski just has that 1 inning. And Lamb already going to second. They'll throw, and the tag's applied, and he is out. The delayed steal not working for Andrew Lamb. He's tagged out at second base, so base is empty. 1 down for Ryan Callahan.
Yeah, unfortunate for Andrew Lamb. We've seen Bucs go early a few times this season, or more than a few times, and that time for Lamb not working out.
He made a really good job of getting off the mound and not balking. Ground ball out to Zulaika. Second baseman collects and throws for out number 2. But like I said, a really good job by Neiman. We saw Chad Gurney have some trouble where he balked after a runner tried to go a little bit early and just caught him off guard. A lot of things are said to you in that moment, that split-second decision. You have to be sure that you step off the hill first and step off cleanly. So 2 down quickly, and that will bring up Josh Hankins. We'll see a different arm in Peyton Neiman, who's looking for a 1-2-3 inning after that caught stealing. First pitch is a called strike. One's in the dirt. 2 hours gone. It's been a pretty long game, but it hasn't felt like it.
An hour 37, because remember we started late.
Right, that now I remember. And we definitely didn't start at 6:15. I have to say 6:18, 6:17, which is only a couple minutes difference, but still. So I take that back, not approaching 2 hours. Now it makes a little bit more sense. About to say, does not feel that long of a game. 2 balls, 1 strike to Hankins. Righty deals, that's in the dirt.
Way out in front of home plate.
Hitters count now 3-1. Max Ross on deck. Hankins 2 for 3 with that solo bomb in the 4th. Single and a stolen base and an RBI, so 2 RBIs on the night. And a single and a stolen base back in the 1st. 3-1 count. The pitch is low and inside. And that's going to be a 2-out walk for Josh Hankins.
He just keeps getting on base. What a day for him it's been.
Great time to start heating up. A lot of games left to be played for this Bucs team. A day off in a couple of days, but besides that, it is double headers left and right, and a ton. All of them will be away games. Tomorrow is the last home game for the Bucs. Of course, they will see the Pilots a couple more times after that, but they will be the visiting team. That one is low and away.
Yeah, just weird scheduling quirk. Bunch of games down in Matsu coming up. I guess it'll be up in Matsu, right?
Yeah. That misses, and it will prompt a mound visit. 2 balls, no strikes to Max Ross. And Eisenagel wants to talk with Neiman.
Yeah, 11 balls and 3 strikes so far for Neiman. Not really getting that command down.
And one of those strikes being a ground ball to Ryan Callahan, so that was huge. And also the caught stealing was really big as well. Bucs almost running themselves into that. Eisenagel didn't have to do anything.
I just can't imagine it being super easy to come into the game as a reliever when you've already been in the game. Even though he hasn't been fielding, he's been a designated hitter. And even if he had been warned that he was going to be coming in, just a really weird flow to switch out of.
2-0, swung on and missed. Was tailing away from Ross, and it's almost like Little League where you're in the bullpen warming up and someone's got to keep reminding you that, hey, you're about 4 or 5 spots away from hitting, and then all of a sudden you're in the hole and you are rushing to get on deck. And then look at that. Excuse me, I don't know why, totally blank, but Hankins took second base and he had a couple of huge steps and was able to get in there easily. And Eisenangle, nothing he could do. I think Hankins was reading the body language of Neiman and saw that he had some extra time in his delivery that he could go on. 3-1 pitch to Ross is in the dirt. So another walk. This will mean first and second with Peyton Knowles at the dish.
Yeah, good for Hankins to pick up that stolen base. Didn't end up mattering that much after the walk to Max Ross, but we said it earlier in this game, if you're struggling with your command, not the guy you want to be facing in Peyton Knowles.
Not at all. A guy that really takes advantage of all types of pitchers. But I talked to him, I said this earlier in the game, that would love to see him swing for the fences a couple times. Such a selfless batter. Is always trying to get on, trying to move runners over. Takes a called strike there. Ross a big lead at first, no one holding him on. That one's in the dirt. Almost gets away from Eisenangle. Good read by Hankins.
And I'm always such a big fan of runners taking a big lead when nobody's holding them on, because if you're not, you're kind of just wasting steps. They're giving them to you. Take them. And Max Ross is definitely doing that.
1-1 to Knowles. Hankins dancing around crazy over there. Good job by Neiman, not balking.
Yeah, and for Hankins, same thing. If Dagenhart's not going to hold you on, then why stay close?
1-1 misses outside, and it would not be surprising if Neiman struggles just because of what Hankins and Ross might be doing on the base paths.
Yeah, I don't know why his defense wouldn't help him out a little bit more and maybe hold those guys on.
2-1 in the dirt. That one gets away from Eisenangle. Sprinting into third is Hankins. Max Ross moves first to second, and a big turnaround third for Hankins as he's teasing Eisenangle to throw that ball. I think Peyton Neiman's trying to tell Eisenangle, just let it go, give it up. Hankins is going to try to rile you up anyways. I think that's exactly what he's doing. Eisenangle having an extra look down at third base. He's definitely got to be frustrated with Hankins.
And I don't think it's going to stop, especially with Neiman being a righty. And, I mean, Jaffe's nowhere close to third.
That in the dirt, but a great stop by Eisenangle. Unfortunately, it ends up in another walk. The base was open at least, but Peyton Knowles makes it bases loaded and 2 down for Dylan Malpe.
Great chance to absolutely blow this game open for Dylan Malpe. He reached base last time with a walk, and obviously nowhere for Peyton Neiman to put him this time.
So far, Malpe a strikeout, flyout, and a walk. Wind picking up again, blowing from right field to left field. Long bottom half of the 6th inning. We'll see if Lipinski will go back out there. He's sitting in that troublesmaker corner out in the dugout, so I would assume that he is because he's got the glove right in front of him. So
stretching the arm now.
Yeah, with Tim Cole coming out, it most likely will be a pitching change for the Chinooks. So Lipinski will probably go grab some extra reps in the bullpen, and hopefully that will be a good sign for the Bucs. But Tim Cole's having a longer conversation. Wonder if they're just waiting for another reliever to go up their final tosses.
I mean, everybody seems to be looking at that bullpen from the Chinooks, so I think someone's got to be coming out of there. Looks like maybe Nolan Livesey. 14 warming up. Tough to tell from here.
We've recently seen Livesey too.
I mean, Jacob Hayes has looked over towards that bullpen good 4 or 5 times, and Cole has the ball now.
Yep, so Tim Cole will be taking out Peyton Neiman, who unfortunately just gets the 2 outs, but has loaded the bases up for Dylan Malpe. So another pitcher to come in for the Chinooks. We'll tell you who it is and all about him after this short break. Welcome back. On the hill is Nolan Livesey. We recently saw him in that 10-4 loss against the Chinooks, and he is making his first appearance out of the bullpen. All 6 of his previous appearances came as starts. He is 3-2, 35 innings pitched, a lot of innings, 33 hits given up, 17 earned runs, good for a 4.33 ERA, and that's not too bad, but it's definitely on the higher end of ERAs for the team.
Yeah, got a ton of run support with that 6-run first against the Bucs in the 10-4 game. 6 2/3, 4 hits, 3 earned runs.
Dylan Maltby at the dish. Sorry to cut you off. That one inside from Nolan Livesey.
Yeah, 4 walks that day, 5 strikeouts. So can be a little bit erratic, but can also get you swinging.
1-0 is a called strike, and I should have said that Livesey's ERA is on the higher side because they've definitely got hurlers that have some high ERAs. Probably on one of the lower sides. There's a couple guys with sub-3 ERAs, but definitely one of the few ones with the sub-5. Appeal down to first. They say Maltby didn't go, so 2 balls, 1 strike. And the team ERA of, we said it earlier in the game, or maybe we didn't. Maybe
Yeah, so we're on 450, I want to say.
Yeah, we don't need the exact number, but
451.
Yeah, perfect. Great memory. That one is outside. 3 balls, 1 strike. But yeah, not a bad team ERA at all. Of course, some guys still have the 0 there, but have only pitched 5 or so innings. But definitely a good chunk of guys above 4. Next one misses, and that'll walk in a run. So Dylan Maltby's very disciplined and good eye gets himself on base and gets himself an RBI as Josh Hankins comes around to score.
Yeah, 3 RBIs on the year now for Maltby, and we know that he's not a guy that is going to really expand the zone. You're going to have to throw it in the zone to get a strike against him, and Livesey just couldn't get that done. Maltby will take it, and the Bucs will take it.
So that will bring up Riley Hunsaker, the 8-hole batter. First pitch he sees misses way outside. A good stop by Chinooks. For Maltby, that is his 3rd RBI. And just has about 15, 16 at-bats now with a couple walks tonight. So a really good job. In a small sample size, Maltby has made a really big impact. 1-0. This is outside. And I would love if we could have the WAR statistic. And his WAR, I guess it wouldn't be high enough, but, you know, in terms of if WAR meant how you impact a team on how short or how many or how little at-bats you have, it would be through the roof. 2-0 called strike.
Yeah, would have to do a lot of statistical work to get that figured out. But, yeah, no, he's done a great job filling in, and he's probably going to be called upon more and more often as this season winds down.
2-1 is another called strike. Deuce is wild here. Bucs up 5-0 after that walk from Maltby scored Josh Hankins. Livesey trying to take care of the Bucs, just allowing that 1 run. Of course, it's unearned. That one's outside. We'll go towards Neiman, who started this inning and loaded up the bases. Got 2 outs, though.
Came in after 117 pitches from Aiden Ray.
Full count pitch. Runners get a head start. That one is upstairs. No, they're going to say he went around, and that is unbelievable. No appeal down whatsoever, and Bill Springman's going to have a word with the home plate umpire. That is absurd. First of all, there's no way Hankins went. And second of all, even though that there's not an umpire down at third base, this whole season the home plate umpires have been appealing down to whoever's the closest. So then there's no appeal on this one. Hunsaker is down on strikes. The Bucs leave the bases loaded as we head to the 7th inning here at Mulcahy Stadium. Welcome back. Rob Vandergrift gets a chance at third base, comes in to relieve Josh Hankins, who ends with an incredible night. Eli Lipinski still out on the hill, and now back with the play-by-play. Here's Will Hopkins.
Appreciate it, Vic. We mentioned Vandergrift earlier in the game, primarily a second baseman, but it seems that he's more than capable of playing third base. Out of Ottawa University, limited playing time this year, so good for him to get some summer reps. As Eli Lipinski comes back out for the top of the seventh, 1 run for the Bucs in the bottom of the sixth as Dylan Maltby walked in Josh Hankins with the bases loaded. Jacob Hayes, Louis Zulaika, and Jordan Joffe, heart of this order for the Chinooks, and that's a called strike. Looked like a ball, and it should have just been a call that Hayes went around. But strike nonetheless, and would have thought that the home plate umpire would kind of give the makeup call there. Obviously not the same without the bases loaded in a full count, but just to give Coach Springman to say, hey, I'm calling it for them too. Either way, 1-1, and another swing and a miss from Jacob Hayes.
Coach Springman, the Bucs, had a long and lengthy conversation with the home plate umpire. Nothing too crazy, of course, still at the park, and no one had to get thrown out tonight, but definitely a long conversation, just trying to understand why that was a swinging strike.
Speaking of swinging strike, there's a strikeout for Eli Lipinski, his first of the game, first time that the Bucs have gotten Hayes on strike, and first out in the top of the seventh.
There's another swinging strike by these Bucs pitchers, and just the one looking strikeout from Jaden Hill that was off of Garvey Rummery. So just overpowering these Chinooks batters. Just cannot catch up to the speed and can't seem to find the barrel of those breaking balls.
15 strikeouts for the Bucs staff yesterday in that win, as Lipinski starts Zulaika with a strike, now 8 so far tonight. Five nothing, Bucs lead it. No runs on 2 hits, 1 error for the Chinooks so far. 5 runs, 6 hits, no errors so far for the Bucs. 12 stranded for the Bucs though, so it could easily be some more damage done. And Lipinski's really making these Chinooks look uncomfortable and look a little silly up there.
Yeah, it just makes you think or wonder why he hasn't been used much out of the bullpen. Just those 5-6 innings coming into this game, and that's what I always wonder. He always looks pretty good, and ERA's a little bit inflated off just a bad outing or two.
And that's not bad at all. Swing and a miss. Zulaika loses the bat. The Bucs throw the ball around, and what a start to the 7th inning for Lipinski.
Like I said, just had 1 or 2 hiccups, but for the most part, what we've seen out of him has just been really, really good.
He's been really, really good so far tonight. Honestly, main reason we haven't seen him recently was because the Bucs tried to pitch him a little bit too much, came back a little sore, but he seems like he's in great shape right now, and that right arm's doing its job. So now Jordan Joffe. He's 1 for 2 so far. First contact we've seen all inning from the Chinooks as Joffe sprays it foul.
Not surprised it's Joffe doing it. Like we've been saying, just hits the Bucs super well. But he did ground out against Garvey Rummery in that 4th inning, so good job getting him after giving up a single.
Called strike on the outside corner. Don't think Joffe was expecting or took much liking to that call. He has a word or two with our home plate umpire. Now Lipinski a strike away from getting the side on strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the top of the 7th. Eli Lipinski trying to send us to the stretch. Maybe try to put a little bit too much on that one.
Still like the location, not giving Joffe anything to hit. Looking for the chase, just didn't get it there. Eddie Torres has been warming up in the bullpen for a good bit, but could just be getting some tune-up.
Deuce is wild. Here's the pitch. Hit in the air, just past second base. Will Burns? No. Peyton Knowles? Yes. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Eli Lipinski with 2 strikeouts. We head to the bottom half, but first a stretch here at Mulcahy Stadium. Welcome back for the bottom of the 7th. Will Hopkins alongside Vic Massia as Rob Vandegrift gets his first trip at the plate for these Bucs, batting in the 9 hole in place of Will Burns, who actually was removed from the game at shortstop, and Burns removed from the game at shortstop. Hankins moving over there as Vandegrift took over at third base. So Vandegrift fouling off the first pitch, still Livesey, and now fouls off the second pitch as well. Hoping to get everything straightened out for you. As that pitch is outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Vandegrift, Carlone, and Andrew Lamb. Bucs leading it 5-0. And a swing and a miss. Unfortunately, Vandegrift unable to reach base. His first trip to the plate as a Buck. Now Cole Carlone comes up to the plate with the bases empty and 1 out.
Yeah, but a good job by Vandegrift, able to see first couple pitches of ABL ball, and maybe he's a little more comfortable going into his next at bat.
Not a ton of hits for the Bucs over the last couple of innings. Cole Carlone could change that, and he does. Right on cue. 3rd hit of the day for Cole Carlone, Mr. Reliable.
Yeah, he sure is, and just does a great job of giving the Bucs a rally in late in this game too, even with 1 out. Just does such a great job of that. Sets the Bucs up for success. Now, time to score some runs and stop leaving these guys on the base pass, because 5 runs should be enough, but definitely just want to keep adding on. It would definitely feel good for this team after struggling so much, not scoring runs besides the first inning, to be able to score in so many innings after that.
Definitely. Livesey checking on Carlone. One on, 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th as Livesey makes it a 1-0 count. One cracked into left field, and Brady Groves is not going to get to this one. 1 hop, and it's to the wall. Carlone running around second. He's being waved home from third. The throw is relayed by Jaffe, and it is not in time. An RBI double for the doubles machine, Andrew Lamb.
And a great job by Carlone, not believing the deke out in left field by Brady Groves. He knew that ball was down. And a big green light and send from Sanagorski, but I think he realized that even though that ball was about to be thrown in, Carlone had a good turn around third base, and Sanagorski knew that first throw had to be really good and that second throw had to be really good, and they actually missed the cutoff man, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah, was not expecting the send, in all honesty.
Not at all. But the way it looked, once he sent him, I could see the throw by Brady Groves that totally missed the cutoff man. It was just a great decision by Sanagorski. He definitely knows what he's doing out there.
For sure. He's been making great calls all season long. As another try into left field. This one's going to go foul, though, off the bat of Ryan Callahan.
See Callahan do that so much. He's not a big pull hitter at all and can line it down that first base line or hit it away like he just did. But I've seen so many times just barely missing a double down the line.
Talking about how the Bucs hadn't had a bunch of hits. Now 2 back-to-back. Single and a double. Called strike.
And I know the Bucs are already up big here, but those sins by Sanagorski are probably what we're going to be seeing later into this season for the Bucs. If they struggle to score runs in games, a first and third play like that should probably see Sanagorski not being too conservative and actually being pretty aggressive.
1-2. Swing and a miss. So Livesey bounces back after the RBI double and gets Callahan swinging, but I referred to Andrew Lamb as a doubles machine. That's his 10th now on the season. Nobody else on the Bucs has more than 4. So just far and away the best at going in the gaps and down the lines for these Bucs.
And it's interesting because he's so different from Peyton Knowles, who Knowles, I talk about being such a selfless batter, has those 17 walks now, and actually a couple more after tonight's game. But he's still hitting 235, which is pretty good in ABL ball, and his on base percentage is 420. But for Lamb, that extra base hitting machine, he's hitting now probably closer to 260 with an OBP closer to 400. And what that basically means is these two are getting on base so much. They're just doing it in different ways, and I think it meshes perfectly together.
Yeah, it certainly does. This Bucks lineup, great to see it meshing together like it has tonight for 6 runs. And quite some time since we've seen a scoring output this solid. I believe 11 days now since that 9-1 win. It's been no more than 3 runs ever since that. Called strike. And Josh Hankins has had a huge day. A single, a homer, and a walk. He takes a strike on the outside corner. Switched over to shortstop last inning. Haven't seen him there in a while just because Will Burns is in there basically every game. So never know when you're going to need someone where in the playoffs. So good to get some reps. And he hits this one to short. Dagenhart, a long throw deep in the hole. Good pick over there by Jacob Hayes. The Bucks do get a run, though. An RBI double from Andrew Lance. Scores Cole Carlone for the 6th run. 6-0. We head to the 8th. Welcome back for the top of the 8th. Bucks continuing to add on runs. Definitely a breath of fresh air. Eli Lipinski's night is done. Did a great job in 2 innings of work. But now the ball over to Eddie Torres for the 2nd time this season.
Yeah, Torres, newly with the team, has just been here for a week and has just pitched in 1 game, and it was a really rough outing. He was brought into just a 1-run game. He came in and tried to hold it for the Bucks. Yeah, that was a close game. I'm not sure, was it 1 run at that point? But anyways, did not record a single out. Gave up 1 hit, and 1 earned run, and a walk as well. Just really struggled. I think he had a hit by pitch mixed in there too as well. But was put into a really high-stress situation and unfortunately just couldn't get out of it.
And for the Bucks, great situation you're in here with a 6-run lead. Let him have a stressless outing to go into, not the most stressful situation with the 6-run lead, and get that confidence back, get the good vibes back. And so next time when you do need him in a close game, he should be confident in his abilities, and so should the Bucks. Don't
And
want to leave that bad taste in your mouth for too long.
exactly, and that was a 2-run lead for the Bucs that Torres was put in. So still really high stress situation to go in for your first outing in ABL ball. I talked about how I didn't like the decision. Obviously, I'm not privy to what the coaching staff is talking about when they're talking about bringing in new guys and when to use them, but just didn't like that move. But here, 6-0 lead, great time to put him in.
Should be comfortable with the man at third, Rob Vandergrift, his teammate at Ottawa University, and looked comfortable with that pitch.
Yep, really good location, good start. For Torres, after that last outing, not recording a single out, biggest thing is just filling up the zone, trying to get that first out here.
100%. 1-1 now to Dagenhart. After him, Brady Groves and then Sam Kwapnowski. We remind you that Rob Vandergrift is at third base, Josh Hankins at shortstop. As this one's fouled off to our right.
Yeah, Will Burns taken out of the game, and maybe that should be a good sign for him, having a couple at-bats where he misses out on and just having a second to collect himself, give Vandergrift a chance, and I just think it's good for all parties.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Make that 3 strikes. Swing and a miss, and Eddie Torres gets his first strikeout in ABL play this season.
Yeah, and that was a really good sequence from him. Just that 1 ball he threw, but like I said, really good pitch selection from Torres. And after that first outing, biggest thing is you want to get that first out, and it was an easy, quick out, and he gets a strikeout too, so probably feeling really good about himself.
And now gets to face another righty in Brady Groves. We know these sidewinders usually preferring to face the righties, and maybe more than that, the righty batters just preferring not to face him, and inserted here with 3 righties in a row. 7 righties in this lineup for the Chinooks. Nolan Livesey, the designated hitter and pitcher, the only lefty, with Jaden Hill, the switch hitter. They didn't really mix Livesey in there. Guess it wouldn't really matter where you put him once the game gets going in terms of the consecutive righties. Is another strike from Torres, but he's batting 9th, so it's righty switch hitter and then 6 more righties before you get to Livesey. Hopefully that bodes well for Eddie Torres. Breaking ball that time. Groves lucky to stay alive. Did a good job there of getting a little bit of wood on it.
Yeah, and I love these last 3 pitches by Torres. Missed outside with that sweeping slider. Then he went to the same spot but went with the fastball. So it's so tough to pick up on as a hitter. And went right back to the slider. We'll see if he goes back to it, and yeah, he did.
Tried to front door it. Not quite enough break, and also started a little bit too far inside, but so good for Eddie to get out ahead. Gives him a chance to work and try to get some of these chases. Now the count's even. Hit hard on a line to right field, but Hunsaker has a solid read on it, and 2 up, 2 down for Eddie Torres.
Great start for him. Of a quick 1-2-3 inning, and after not recording a single out in your last outing, how about a 1-2-3? That would be really good and would, I'm sure, make him feel a lot more comfortable being out here. And, you know, he's been here for about a week. Torres hasn't, just the 1 outing. So after that outing, he's probably feeling a little bit lonely out here. Couldn't record that out and maybe thinking, is this the right decision to come up to Alaska? But if he can get a 1-2-3 inning here, it's just those little things like that, Will, I think, that help players at any sport feel comfortable. Going back out after a bad outing and following it up with a really good one, and probably makes you feel like you're at home here up in Anchorage.
100%. Outside this time to Kwapnowski. And Kwapnowski is a left-handed hitting player for these Chinooks. Not sure why he's listed as a righty in the system. Brett Castillo warming up in the bullpen for the Bucs. Haven't seen him batting or pitching in quite some time. Maybe we'd see him for the 9th. Looks like it's double barrel action down there. Not quite sure if that's maybe Adam Enyart with him. But for now, it's Eddie Torres. 2 balls, 1 strike. Hit in the air to center, but it's going to bounce in front of Max Ross. No 1-2-3.
But I think for Torres, still a really good job because he's getting these Chinooks to put it in play. And I love that he's not tiptoeing around them at all. Got the strikeout, then got the line out, which was a little bit worrisome. Just didn't know if Hunsaker would have a play on that, but luckily was hit right to him, so ended up being an easy play. But I like his approach. I like that he's letting the Chinooks put into play. sidewinders that try to be too perfect, try to go for the swing and miss. A lot of times, yeah, it can be really flashy, and you get that sweeping slider, but a lot of times, Will, you get yourself into trouble, and that's why we loved Hyder, because he didn't have to rely on those strikeouts.
100%. Strike to start Peyton Neiman, who we saw come into the game as a pitcher after starting as just the designated hitter, back to just those duties. 2/3 of an inning, 1 earned run. Didn't give up any hits. 4 walks plagued him. I believe it was also him who hit Josh Hankins. So a bunch of free passes, whether walk or hit by pitch. This one's gloved in fair territory. Great job by Cole Carlone getting to it in time and tagging out Neiman. A great top of the 8th for Eddie Torres. We head to the bottom half. Bucs still leading by a score of 6-0. Welcome back. Bottom of the 8th inning after a scoreless top half. It's been a scoreless top half to every inning so far. 6-0. The Bucs lead it. Will Hopkins alongside Vic Massey as Max Ross, Peyton Knowles, and Dylan Maltby come to the plate, and they'll be facing a new pitcher for these Chinooks. It's number 1, Shane Steffen.
Yeah, and we talked about it during the break. It seemed like we'd seen Steffen not just one time, but I also thought that he was just a regular pitcher for the Chinooks, regular meaning that he also plays in the field, but he's only had one outing, and it was against the Bucs, and that's why we remember it, but I would just assume that he had more. 1 inning pitched, no hits, no runs, 2 walks, but did have a strikeout, so a clean inning for him despite the 2 walks.
Yep, he'll face the middle part of the Bucs order, and we saw him play in the field and pitch in that same game, something the Chinooks do not shy away from. A lot of two-way players for this team. As Max Ross cranks this and so unfortunately right at Jacob Hayes. He hit that ball on a line.
Sure did. And you could tell he's bummed out about that one. And Hayes, unfortunately, is just too tall over there at first base to try to guide that ball over.
And would have loved to see how far Max Ross could have gone. Might see him standing at third base right now, if not for the big Hayes over there. Jacob Hayes standing at 6'5", and he needed all of it. So now Peyton Knowles with 1 out and nobody on. He takes the strike.
Yeah, I think that ball honestly was a little too hard to be a triple. It probably would have gotten down into that corner super quick, and just is a matter of how quickly Kwapnowski can get there.
Knowles tries the other way, hits it hard to left field. Groves retreating, gets turned around, and he drops the ball. Buddy Groves dropped the ball. That's going to be an error, and into second base goes Peyton Knowles. How about that for a gift?
Whew. I can't believe it at all. That ball looked like it was easily into his glove, and not at all.
Got a little bit turned around and made a last-second adjustment, but still was in a decent position to secure it, and just couldn't get the job done. Watching the replay back right now, got turned around to his side a little bit and just dropped the ball. I mean, no better way to put it. So Knowles in scoring position as Dylan Maltby, who already has 1 RBI, looking for a second one now tonight. Couple of walks in his last 2 trips to the dish.
2 base air out there. That's tough.
Good pitch that time from Stefan, finding the inside corner.
Brett Castillo's out warming up in the bullpen. I wonder if the Bucs can scratch across another run and make it a 7-run lead if they'll go with Castillo. Would help the arms a little bit. Not that they've been really sore.
Noon game tomorrow, so super short turnaround before the day off on Thursday, and then things really pick up. A few double headers, no days off until the end of the regular season. 2 balls, 1 strike to the Bucs designated hitter. That pitch too high. Now 3-1. Maltby a pitch away from drawing his 3rd consecutive walk, with Riley Hunsaker waiting on deck. Knowles at second, a speedy guy who likes to take the extra base, and maybe Stefan having that in the back of his mind steps off. Now a full count. Become a pretty beautiful night here at Mulcahy Stadium. Had some darker cloud cover earlier. See kind of a split sky on your screen. Out towards right, a lot brighter than towards left. And there's another walk for the walk machine, Dylan Maltby.
Yeah, he deserves it. Just got great plate discipline, a good eye. You know, he's not the type of guy that's just going to leave the bat on his shoulders. He's going to swing. He's already struck out swinging once tonight. That just goes to show you that he's up there and he's competing, but he's not going to swing at anything that's out of the zone. That's what makes him so good.
And now another guy who's just been all over first base. Riley Hunsaker, a single, a walk, and a hit by pitch. He takes a strike. Hunsaker scored one of the 2 runs in the 2nd inning. Oh, 1 little dribbler over to first. Jacob Hayes gloves it, flips to Stefan, who athletically steps on first base, but Hunsaker able to move both guys over.
Yep, doing your job right there. And Al Vandergrift, a pretty big spot here. I know the Bucs are up 6-0, but for a team that's left, 13 runners on base coming into this game, it is definitely a point where Bucs got to make a statement to show these teams that they can get their runs in, even if they leave a lot on base.
100%. 6 runs, 8 hits. I'm sure he'd love to get in on the fun. Not a very fun pitch, though. Perfect on the outside corner. Knowles at third, Maltby at second. New Buck, Rob Vandergrift at the plate. A 1 from Shane Stefan. Breaking ball and not outside by much.
I'll put a really good take. Wise take, too.
Vandergrift can reach. It'll be back to the top with Cole Carlone. First the 1-1, and that's too high.
I would really like to see Castillo get the opportunity. It looks like he might just, but also for the sake of resting arms, not that Castillo is one that's used a lot, could just send Torres back out there.
Yeah. Definitely could. Trying right field. That's going to go foul from Vandergrift, but like the idea. Now the deuces are wild here in the bottom of the 8th inning. It'll be 1, 2, and 3 for the Chinooks in the final frame, and the Bucs looking to make it more than a 6-run deficit for the Chinooks to try to overcome in that inning. 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs. The pitch, slow breaker, too high.
Good eye by Vandergrift. It's going to be tough just in your second at bat here in the AVL. Off a guy like Stefan who hasn't pitched much, so a very even battle, really.
There is a place to put him, but at the cost of facing Cole Carlone. And Cole Carlone will get a chance with the bases loaded. Already has 3 singles so far. And we've talked about a chance to break this game open. I mean, he could really do it, or technically he could end the game. If he hits one over the wall, it would be 10-0 Bucs. That would be run run. Would that be a cool way for the Bucs to have their first grand slam of the season?
It sure would, and being up 6 runs, why not be a little greedy with 2 outs?
Wind blowing out towards left, and even though Carlone's a lefty, not the worst thing in the world. He goes that way, even for his home runs. way high. Fantastic stop by Eisenegel. He kind of had to jump for that one.
He's been all over the place, and he's not the biggest, tallest catcher in the world, so he really had to reach up high to get that one. And then balls in the dirt, balls left, right, up, everywhere. He stopped most of them.
Yeah, just 5'7" for Eisenegel. Carlone hits this one in the air to right. Should be manageable for Kwapnoski, and he gloves it for the third out. The Bucs now 16 runners stranded as we head to the ninth. We'll see who it is out on the mound. Looks like probably Brett Castillo. After this short break, the final inning. Welcome back. Final frame here at Mulcahy Stadium. Will Hopkins alongside Vic Massey as Brett Castillo's onto the mound for the Bucs. Try to finish things up. Obviously not a save situation, but still with a little bit of pressure to get those final three outs.
Yeah, we've only seen Castillo once. We've seen him a couple times in some non-league games, but in terms of league play, just the one time. We know him more on the hitting side of things, where he's done a good job, but also hasn't been used much as a hitter, which we'd like to see more of, and just more of him in general. And going back to his first and only appearance, that was versus these very Chinooks. We'll take you back to July 9th. He pitched 3 innings in that 10-4 loss. That was when the Bucs were already down by 6+ runs. Came in, looked really sharp, just gave up 1 hit, no runs at all. So a really good 0.00 ERA, of course, for Brett Castillo, but just the 1 appearance. But like I said, 3 innings pitched coming in your first league game. It's a pretty tall task to ask for Brett Castillo, but he delivered.
Yeah, he definitely did, and hopefully he can deliver here facing the top of this Chinooks order. Would love to have a second shutout win in as many nights for these Bucs. For Castillo, we've seen him pitch, like you said, a couple other times in the non-league, but just a second appearance in league play. Might be seeing him more often with guys departing, like Rylan Hyder, Brody Purcell, some common arms in the pen. Zane Kelly, who hadn't been used a ton as a pitcher, but another option. He's leaving here in a couple days and won't be pitching before he does go. Starts Eisenegel with a ball. Now the 1-0. Lefty fires high.
For Castillo, just realized 6-run lead to work with. Don't have to be perfect. Just try to get the ball on the ground in the air. Just make it a quick inning.
Last thing you want to do is issue free passes. Only 3 hits for the Chinooks. Make them earn it. And those 3 hits so far, the only base runners. No hit by pitches, no walks, no errors. And that's just super clean baseball from the Bucs.
Yeah, really clean. And they've just done a really good job. The only downside is just the left on bases. 16 guys. Almost every inning, at least 1 or 2 guys left on base.
If not 3. High in the air. right at Josh Hankins. He comes in a few steps from his new-ish shortstop position, and he makes the play for the first out. Good start for Brett Castillo and these Bucs in the ninth. And now Jaden Hill comes to the plate. Been a rough day for him. Back on the right side, struck out twice over there, then flew out on the infield from the left side. So Josh Hankins at third base coming in hard, sorry.
Yeah, no, he just looked really uncomfortable today besides that last at-bat where he flew out. But still, even in that at-bat, had some weird swings.
First pitch misses. After Jaden Hill, it'll be Jacob Hayes, and hopefully that's it. Would love a 1-2-3 inning to really slam the door here in the ninth. Grounder over to third. First chance for Robert Vandergrift, and it's a perfect throw.
Perfect play, too. I love how he's chopping his feet, getting ready for that ball, just looking it into the glove. Very clean play, and that's one that really shows the coaches that they've got a sure-handed defensive glove in Vandergrift, and you love to see that off the first play. Definitely different than Hankins over there. Probably just would have flashed the glove up and just tossed the ball over there to first, no problem. But two very different ways of playing ball, but two very good ways of playing baseball, and they're both very good at it.
Hankins, Mr. Casual over there, and Vandergrift looking a little bit more like Mr. Fundamental.
Yeah. Exactly, yep.
Jacob Hayes takes a strike. How about a strikeout for Brett Castillo to end this ninth? Has gotten a couple softballs on the infield, one in the ground, one in the air. And Eli Lipinski's mom pointing out to us that Shane Steffen, Eli Lipinski, and Aiden Ray, not only have all three of them pitched here tonight, all three of them went to Diamond High School here in Anchorage, a really cool connection that I think all of you would find interesting. Definitely interesting to us. And
yeah.
What are the odds that all three of them are going to pitch?
Yeah, it's crazy. That is really interesting, and I'm sure that was not on the docket for you, Miss Lipinski, but of course I'm glad you got to see that.
And we appreciate the help up here. 2-1, big swing and a miss from Jacob Hayes, and Brett Castillo a strike away from ending this game for the Bucs.
And before this game is potentially over, Sunsaker, we totally agree with that comment. Still in disbelief about that call.
Deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The pitch, too low.
And Brett Castillo only had 1 strikeout in those 3 innings he pitched against the Chinooks back a couple weeks ago.
Full count to Jacob Hayes. Don't want to see Louis Zulaika tonight. Leave that for another day. Full count pitch. Swing and a miss. Brett Castillo does get his strikeout. The Bucs do get a second consecutive shutout win. It's 6-0. The Bucs take it over the Chinooks for win number 20 on the season.
Yeah, and a swinging strikeout at that, and the only looking strikeout was all the way back in the first inning for Jaden Hill. Back-to-back shutouts for this team, and I don't know if they're looking up at me or somewhere else, but they are obviously all very excited, and a really good win as the Bucs get it done. But like I said, everything being a swinging strikeout except for that one to Jaden Hill. And Will, what that shows you is the Bucs pitchers just overpowering and dominating against the Chinooks hitters.
And we'll go ahead and wrap things up now. So many of these wins lately, it's been, the pitching really carried and the hitting let them down. Yes, there were 16 guys left on base, but 6 runs for the Bucs, 8 hits. Those 6 runs coming in 5 different innings. A bunch of guys with big days at the plate. Cole Carlone, Josh Hankins, of course, with the homer in addition to an RBI single. Dylan Maltby with 3 walks. Andrew Lamb with an RBI double, Ryan Callahan with a 2 RBI single, and then all of the pitchers really deserving their praise because they all did a fantastic job. 0 walks, 0 hit by pitches, 0 errors from this Bucs defense. For Garvey Rummery, 5 innings, just 2 hits. Eli Lipinski, 2 hitless innings. Eddie Torres, just 1 hit in 1 inning. And then Brett Castillo, a clean 1-2-3 9th inning.
Yeah, just the same thing that we've been seeing from this pitching staff, pure domination. Another shutout, but even before that, we've seen so many low-scoring games from this pitching staff. The biggest implosion we've seen was that 10-4 victory from the Chinooks, but besides that, the pitchers have been absolutely dominant, and that was Zane Kelly, who hadn't pitched in over a month, coming in to start that game and just had a really tough time. But like I said, besides that, Will, the Bucs pitching staff has just been so dominant and give us a huge reason as to why that they should be the players of every single game that the Bucs win, because the pitchers are usually really big in carrying this team. But tonight the hitters also woke up. They had 6 runs, really helped the pitchers settle in, and I'm sure Garvey Rumry was really appreciative of that run support.
Well, we're definitely appreciative of getting to watch Garvey and these Bucs play tonight because they played some really good baseball all the way around. Go ahead and give you the final line score for the Chinooks: no runs, 3 hits, 2 errors, and 3 left. For the Bucs: 6 runs, 8 hits, no errors, and 16 left. Just before we let you go ahead and look forward in the schedule. For the Bucs, it'll be here at Mulcahy Stadium for the final home game. That's Game 2 of the Mayor's Cup tomorrow at 12 o'clock. I'll say it again, 12 o'clock, a much earlier start than we are used to. The Chinooks will be at home to face the Oilers, that at the more usual 6 o'clock. Bucs win 6-0 to bring their record to 20-10, still atop the ABL. For Vic Maslia, I'm Will Hopkins. We'll see you next time.